Rugby League on Sky Sports. Sponsored by Stan James, the sports bookmaker, whatever your sport.
It's a boot and all special this week, and we're back among the hopefuls of the National League One. The top of the table beckons for Whitehaven, who must beat Dewsbury to claim pole position. We have the whole match coming up for you live. And stay with us later for all the regular boots and all features. But it's the game that takes pride of place. Though Dewsbury against Whitehaven. Dewsbury, one of Steve-O's old teams, and he's in the commentary box this week, along with Terry O'Connor and Bill Arthur.
Yes, it's the big night at the Tetley Stadium here in West Yorkshire. A big crowd as well. Dewsbury have cut prices for this one. They've really been pushing this match in the local community. And the visitors are Whitehaven, who of course have big ambitions of promotion. Dewsbury, newly promoted, have Ian Preece at fullback, Bryn Powell, Chris Hall, Danny Morn, Austin Buchanan, Francis Maloney and Dean Lawford, a very experienced half-back combination. In the forwards, Andy Hobson returning after suspension, sent off against Whitehaven. Luke Haig, Dominic Maloney, Kevin Crowthers, Martin Robinson and Alex Bretherton. On the bench for the Rams, Liam Finn, Andrew Bostock, Jason Southwell and Keegan Hurst. The coach, Andy Kelly. Whitehaven could go top with a victory here. They have the experienced Gary Broadbent at fullback. Craig Calvert, is he the fastest man in the game? David Seeds, Derry Eelbeck, Steve Maiden, Mark Bainbridge and John Duffy. In the forwards for Haven, Steve Trindle, Aaron Smith, David Fatialofa, Steve Bannister, Richard Fletcher and Aaron Lester. On the bench, Graham Mattinson, Leroy Joe, Ricky Wright and Mark Jackson back in the side after injury. The coach is Dave Rotherham. Well, the Dewsbury fans hoping that things are going to improve. They're not doing too badly. Fifth in the table, newly promoted, won last time out against Sheffield. And an emotional night for Mike Stevenson. Steve-O making a second debut for Dewsbury.
Yeah, I'm quite nervous about it as well. Of course, this is the new ground. It's a long way away, shall I say. Well, it's only about maybe just short of 2 miles down the road where the old Crown Flat used to be. But it's going to be a tough night for my old side, Dewsbury. Whitehaven must start this game red-hot favourites. They've got the real weight in the forwards and, of course, the experience of John Duffy. That'll be interesting. The half-back duel with also an experienced player in Dean Lawford. Been with many clubs, Widnes, Leeds, and of course at Batley. He's got a great kicking game. And Francis Maloney.
It's Lawford who gets us underway, and it's John Duffy, another experienced campaigner, who receives the ball, and Whitehaven with first touches. Fatialofa takes it charging up. Haven, I think, probably feeling that they haven't got the attention that they deserve this season. All the attention has been focused on Castleford Tigers and Widnes Vikings as likely grand finalists and promotion contenders. But Terry, this Whitehaven side looks as though they could mount a challenge as well.
Definitely, the likes of Gary Broadbent and David Seeds, Mr. Whitehaven, and the three Kiwi boys who are all celebrating the testimonial this year. Leroy Joe, David Fatialofa and Aaron Lester. And look for David Fatialofa. Everyone says that when Whitehaven play well, it's because of David Fatialofa.
There's Andy Hobson back in the side. He was sent off against Whitehaven just a few weeks ago. Lasted only 16 minutes of that game, and a high shot on Carl Rudd, I think, cost him 4 games. Hoping to stay on the field a bit longer tonight. First kick of the game, not a good one.
No, it certainly wasn't. And Mark Bainbridge, the standoff, really has to turn the players around. Of course, Dewsbury, they've not won a home game here in the National League, so they'll be trying to ensure that that luck will turn.
Dominic Maloney taking the ball up, nephew of Francis Maloney. And Dewsbury need a good start here. Their form has been fragile, but they have got that win over Sheffield under their belts to give them a little bit of a boost. There is Hobson once again taking that ball up. Now Maloney just stepping out of trouble and managing to get the kick in. Made space for himself well there, but dangerously straight into the hands of Craig Calvert. And Calvert, though, meets a shuddering challenge from Martin Robinson.
Pretty good hit as well by the loose forward, Bretherington. Not the best kick, though, and you can see they got into him. Dominic Maloney certainly got the shoulder through. Well, it's a good start for the red, amber and black, but they've been caught offside. Enthusiastic on the left-hand side there. That's a shame, because they were applying the pressure to this Whitehaven outfit. And you can see quite clearly there, Dean Lawford just losing control, not looking at the official.
Here's Richard Fletcher now. He's made a big impact since joining this Whitehaven side in February. He's got 14 tries already, including 2 hat-tricks, Fletcher. Got 3 against Barrow in the last weekend's Northern Rail Cup tie. A real exciting game that was. There's Gary Broadbent. Masses of experience he has, and so long with Salford. Aaron Lester brings the ball back in field. Little stumble, but Stephen Bannister keeps things alive. But that's good defence from the Dewsbury Rams to drive David Seeds back. Duffy now, Scottish international, hoists that kick, and that's going to put Austin Buchanan under pressure. Does well.
What a take.
Really well.
Unbelievable take there. Talk about keeping your eye on the football. It's come up with a knock-on.
That is harsh.
Oh. Well, Buchanan did ever so well here, didn't he? And then gets spun over. And then just at the right moment, he releases it. Oh. It's all about pressure, Terry.
Well, he might feel a bit aggrieved there.
It might have been a hand in there, but it started with great enthusiasm. Dewsbury, haven't they, as Whitehaven attacking. It's going to be interesting to see how they contain Whitehaven, because this is where Whitehaven want to play the game.
Bainbridge is driven back in the tackle by Danny Morn. Good work there. Here's Broadbent again.
Got to be very careful, Dewsbury. They're allowing them to run from the dummy half position.
And Aaron Smith to Duffy once more. Duffy a little step, looking for the gap. It almost opened up for him. It's good defence by Kevin Crowthers. Aaron Smith now. Fletcher trying to get the ball away. Again, Dewsbury defending desperately on their own try line. Duffy has to go back for that one. And he's faced by a wall of Dewsbury defenders. Now here's Derry Eelbeck.
A little bit nervous to stand off there, Mark Bainbridge. Not the best pass to his half-back partner, Duffy. Got to sort that out.
Here's Bainbridge, but the kick is comfortably dealt with. So Dewsbury withstand that first assault on their line. And there is Austin Buchanan making sure he holds onto the ball this time.
Pretty good work by the centre, Chris Hall, though.
Took it well now. Just gets them out to their own 20. And here's Dominic Maloney again. Not the biggest of props.
No, they've got a lot of raps in man. Andy Kelly saying before the game that he's a big explosive lad, and they're looking for him and Andy Hobson to come up against a very big, powerful Whitehaven pack and show up well.
Just a little bit too far. Dewsbury kicking early in the tackle. You could see that they caught Whitehaven out there. He's got all the experience, hasn't he, to stand up Francis Maloney. And that is one thing that the Rams have to be doing all throughout this night, is turning the Whitehaven big fellas around.
This pitch is very firm and a bit bare in patches as well. Whitehaven keeping this ball alive. Calvert, tackled by Lawford and Danny Morn. Now here's Steve Trindle, 34 years old, for Dave Rotherham's side, ever present so far.
Well, they're handling the big fellas.
Coach just giving instructions there.
Just saying, Bill, the Dewsbury are handling the really big fellas there. The one thing I thought that Whitehaven would have the edge would be up front.
Duffy hoists the kick, and Buchanan is being targeted, but that's another one he's dealt with well.
He'll hang on to the ball this time, that's for sure. Came up with the error.
Danny Moore now wants a Wigan Academy player. Andy Kelly, very experienced coach, and Steve Trindle there, experienced as well, but conceding the penalty. High shot.
It's going down. It's I think he's been a bit badly done to there. It seemed to be a good head, good shoulder. Nearly took your head off then, Billy.
Dean Lawford almost on target. Maloney again. Seen plenty of action early on.
He started very strong, and he wants to take the challenge to the Whitehaven pack, doesn't he? Dean Lawford, a player that played at Leeds, and everyone used to say at Leeds the amount of skill he's got. He can kick off both feet, he can pass the ball, and he'll be looking for wide players all the time to get Francis Maloney out there with a bit of space.
Dewsbury looking to threaten this Whitehaven line for the first time, and they get another penalty. Referee David Merrick catching Whitehaven offside. Now then, will they go for 2 simple points?
I think they probably will.
Yes, they will.
Francis Maloney is no slouch when it comes to kicking goals, but what about Fatty Alofa there? David Fatty Alofa throwing a real haymaker, just ducked underneath it, did Andy Hobson. As you mentioned, Bill, this guy has been around a while, hasn't he? Francis Maloney, played for England, 15 years as a pro. Gives you some indication as to the stability that he brings to this Dewsbury outfit.
Well, he's kicked 51 goals already this season, and he was the club's top point scorer last year. So you'd probably fancy him for the first points of the game here. That's into the undergrowth, and Dewsbury ahead by 2-0. Francis Maloney's successful penalty kick.
It's an important facet, isn't it, that get points on the board straight away, and I'm sure that any opportunity the Dewsbury coach Andy Kelly will get the message out. And I think they're a little bit bemused, Terry, in regards to this Whitehaven pack, that they don't seem to get over the advantage line as easy as perhaps what they thought.
No, they haven't, and as I said before about Andy Hobson and Dominic Maloney not showing them respect, because Whitehaven would have felt that they would have come in and totally steamrolled them, especially when they put Ricky Wright on and Mark Jackson.
Lawford, so Dewsbury ahead so far. Whitehaven having the bulk of the possession though, but not managing to turn it into any points yet. Hobson up to the 40-metre line. Haig. Here's Francis Maloney again. That's the 5th. And Maloney shaped to kick. Well, just was caught in 2 minds there, I think.
Took the wrong option, but he was very shallow, and I think he's pointing to the saying, hey, come on, you've got to give me a bit of space, but Francis Maloney just caught himself very shallow indeed. It's not the largest pitch in the world. He knows every blade of grass here.
Here's Fatty Alofa, as Terry said. He and Kiwi compatriots Leroy Joe and Aaron Lester sharing a testimonial this season, and sounds as though they're going to have lots of fun along the way. 1 or 2 events have already been celebrated. I think there are more to come. Trindle now, former London Bronco, who's really settled in well at Whitehaven. Duffy now. Bannister. Seeds. First try of the game for David Seeds, the veteran, just stepping in field. Cut and bruised already. But David Seeds shrugging off those scars. Crikey, looks a mess. And the travelling Haven supporters happy to see their side ahead with David Seeds, the try scorer.
Good work from the forwards to get them in this position. The first real link that we've seen. And they just threw the dummy, step off the left. That's a good try. Just got them out of position. Just shows you the importance of making sure you do hard work down the middle, then get the link. Great dummy, though. Take nothing away from Seeds. Good stuff.
Well, David Seeds, 32 years old, and Whitehaven's all-time record try scorer. 221 now. And young Mark Bainbridge with this conversion attempt. Former Saints scholarship player Bainbridge. Of course, Carl Rudd missing from this Whitehaven side, the regular goal kicker, and Bainbridge has missed with that one. But Whitehaven ahead by 4 points to 2.
Now the first real chance that we've seen the quality of their three-quarter line. Eelbeck and Seeds in the centres, and good pass as well by Stephen Bannister on loan from the Bradford Bulls, but Seeds made good finish there.
Duffy then collects that restart, and Fatia Lofa drives the ball forward. So Dewsbury's fragile defence, which Andy Kelly has acknowledged before this game, was punctured there with a bit of ease. And interestingly, Stephen Bannister, wearing 11 for Haven, involved in that. This is his final game before his loan spell ends. He's on loan from St Helens at the moment. Trindle. Aaron Smith. Here is Aaron Lester.
Again, poor work on the first and second markers from Dewsbury. Can't allow them to take control at the play the ball area, and again it's going out to the left.
Here is Bannister once more. Great hands from Bannister. Finds Seeds, and Seeds again making space and getting the ball back to Bannister, but that comes unstuck, and it's Whitehaven who concede possession. Dewsbury coming up with it. But that was another opportunity.
Oh, nice offload. Dewsbury desperate to try to get the halfway line. Seeds back on the inside, and again we see Stephen Bannister working hard. Bit of a problem there for Andy Kelly out on that right defensive centre area.
Kevin Crowthers in his third spell at this club, Crowthers, and that ball has been coughed up and it's been picked up by Derry Eelbeck. And the penalty conceded by Ian Priest, desperately trying to stop Eelbeck getting away then, and referee David Merrick says it was a high tackle or a grapple tackle. Well, Crowthers lost that ball. He's claiming there were two in it.
Well, I'm not so sure. I reckon that David Seeds had something to do with that. Dragged him out. The officials haven't seen it. Maybe the reason why Ian Priest, the fullback, wasn't too impressed by the man with the whistle.
Fletcher then driving that ball forward from the penalty. Here's Fatia Lofa. Duffy. The ball out wide to David Seeds again. He's trying every time, and that's good defence that time from Chris Hall. Former Sedgley Park rugby union player Chris Hall. Fatia Lofa once more. The ball still alive. Trindle now. Bainbridge. Short ball. Eelbeck over the top. Oh, great hands from Steve Maiden. Now then. What's he looking for?
I think he can't go for the forward pass. He wants to see if there's any interference of a...
He's gone all the way back to where that ball stayed alive.
A lot of the crowd thought there was a bit of a knock on there. I'm not so sure.
Well, Steve Maiden reckons that was a fair try. He did really well to get that ball because it looked to be sailing over his head and out of play, but somewhere further back, was there a knock on? Fatia Lofa kept that ball alive. There's no problem there.
That's fine. He got it before he could... Yeah, that's good work. Ball carrying arm certainly did not hit the deck. And I don't think he got a fingertip to it before he snatched it, the fullback, Broadbent. And I think this will be in the affirmative. TRY time, and Whitehaven taking control of the game. There's the confirmation.
Steve Maiden gets his 8th try of the season, and he'll enjoy that. He's just back from his honeymoon. He and Emma back from the Maldives, so not many players can say, I'm sure, in the history of Dewsbury Rugby League, that they have jetted in from the Maldives to play, in the history of Whitehaven, that they've jetted in to play for the club. But Steve Maiden has done that, and he's done it to good effect. Coming up with this try, a great ball from Eelbeck. Maiden dots it down.
Certainly good work by the centre. Eelbeck did everything right, but what about the offload there from Fatia Lofa? It was sheer quality. Good work by Broadbent. And what they do in his basic rugby league, the side from Cumbria, he'll be happy, Dave Rotherham, rightly so, because the hard work in the forwards, they're stretching and making sure that the Dewsbury pack is in the middle.
Richard Fletcher with that attempt on goal. He's missed that one as well, so they are missing Carl Rudd, but they are ahead by 8 points to 2.
You know, Aaron Smith started this game up very well. The Dewsbury team seem to be picking him out, yet he can keep coming up with them great players, and the big long ball he keeps on picking out all the time to John Duffy, who always is favouring that left-hand side to get the ball into Dave Seeds' hand. This it was a great line there, and that was a great ball. Great vision, knowing that his winger's outside him, who's hugged the touchline.
So Whitehaven getting a grip on this game, and their line yet to be really challenged. Those 2 points for Dewsbury coming from the boot of Francis Maloney, and they haven't really threatened the Whitehaven defence. There is Aaron Smith, bags of experience under his belt, and learnt his trade from one of the best in the business, James Lowes, at the Bradford Bulls.
Well, Andy Kelly will be a little bit disappointed. The only 10 minutes, they were very, very brisk for the Dewsbury side. Good work from the forwards, and of course Francis Maloney got them off to a pretty good start with a penalty, but it's been Whitehaven ever since, and that's a poor kick. Chase is pretty good though.
Fatty Loafer leading the way. Crease appealing for the penalty. Nothing coming from David Marrick, the referee. Luke Haig now, this young hooker. Andy Hobson. He gets the penalty. Aaron Smith penalised there.
Silly play from the hooker, Smith. Done all the hard work, didn't have to just have that extra push. Silly play. You have control out there, and often you see them just lose the plot sometimes.
And that's another penalty. David Seeds just asking politely, but it's quickly tapped by Dewsbury, looking to hit back after those 2 Whitehaven tries. Lawford just scrambling for a couple more metres. Now Hobson driving it towards those posts. Haig, Maloney trying to go through the gap, but Whitehaven shut the door. Quick play the ball, and they could be in here with a try from Alex Bretherton. If he's got that ball down, he's held up.
Take it out, tackle
the
forward.
Loose forward for a moment. Thought he got that ball down, but great defence from Gary Broadbent and Stephen Bannister.
Tremendous stuff. Bannister just drags him over. Broadbent gets right underneath.
But the tackle count continues. That ball's knocked down. I think that's going to be head and feed to Dewsbury.
It is.
Whitehaven knock on.
Well, they've got to get a set piece up now. And the Rams are going to make sure that they have the experience out there. Little doubt. Mark Bainbridge definitely went for the ball rather than the man. What have they got?
Great opportunity this for Dewsbury then to examine this defence once more. Maloney, short ball to Chris Hall. Hall is tackled by David Seeds and Broadbent. Broadbent taking exception to something in the tackle there. Dominic Maloney makes a few more metres for this Dewsbury side. Luke Haig, oh, that's a great dummy from Haig. And Whitehaven reacted just in the nick of time to stop the hooker.
It was great play, wasn't it, by Haig? Trouble is, both the dummy runners were going the same way. An extra delayed pass would have got it.
Quick hands. They're in, almost in. Are they? They're just short. Lawford, Maloney, all wrapped up in the tackle.
Tremendous defence. It looked for all the world a second row, and Robinson was over there, barely inches away from the whitewash. Oh, what a take!
Great hands. Oh, the touch judge has got his flag up.
He just touched that corner flag. Tremendous.
Well, David Marrick has gone for the screen after all that.
Then check, see if you got it down for me, please. Cheers.
Bryn Powell, oh, just managing to keep that ball up from hitting the ground. Now then.
Does he touch it? Or does he get it down? Well, from that, I think he misses the post, the corner post. But does he have the foot on the whitewash in touch? Either way, it's a tremendous effort from Bryn Powell.
Well, the touch judge's immediate reaction was to signal no try.
I think they'll give this.
And to indicate it was a 20-metre restart, and that's the video referee Ben Thaler's verdict as well. Bryn Powell just, either that trailing foot was in touch or else the other foot made contact with the corner flag. Either way, that's a let-off for Whitehaven. Fantastic handling from Bryn Powell to keep that ball off the deck.
He took
Deserved a try.
He certainly did, a corner, but he did well. I don't think he touched the corner post, Bill. I really must it must have been the touch
The touch judge was adamant, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was in a good position as well.
Here's a lad now who's going to give Whitehaven a lift. The Dewsbury won't want to see Mark Jackson watching the strength of him, the leg drive on him, going through the tackles, and all those looks to promote the ball.
Well, Mark Jackson will there's Bryn Powell's attempts and indications that he did touch that corner flag. Mark Jackson on the field, and he'll just be a bit wary of this referee, David Merrick, because the last time they met, Jackson was sent off, and he's involved there. Number 17 for Haven, an uncompromising character, as is the man in possession for the Dewsbury Rams, Andy Hobson, who has lost that ball, but he's won a penalty.
He's reached out, David Merrick, no doubt about it. Yeah, I've been impressed with the work of the two props, Andy Hobson and Dominic Maloney. Certainly looking for work. Watch the hand come in. Yeah, briefed away.
Duffy, I think it was.
Good decision by the official. I think Aaron Smith also had a few fingertips onto that one.
There is John Duffy, ex-Warrington player, Super League's youngest debutant in 1997, the age of just 16 he was. Kevin Crowthers now, bags of experience under his belt as well, and making good yards for this Dewsbury side. They've responded well to those two Whitehaven tries, having their best period of the game now. And Dominic Maloney again in the thick of it. Lawford, Maloney now. Oh, great break from Martin Robinson, and back to Maloney, and they'll get their first try under the sticks. Great work from Martin Robinson, but he's gone to the video ref again.
Said that last play the ball, he said. Also checking obstruction.
Well, I can't see anything wrong with that. Maybe he's looking for an obstruction, but it was tremendous play by Francis Maloney. Created it, then took the return. Martin Robinson, the big second rower. That's the way to come onto the football. Very impressed with that. Will they get the nod? I think they might.
Well, Robinson was in possession. That ball came.
Well, they're going to see if Maloney did not lose possession here. Leicester said that it did, but they played on. Pretty inconclusive there. Can we see it head on? Big impact.
Where's the ball gone there?
Well, he seems to have lost it, doesn't it? I don't think that he's got to it before it hits the deck either. Often the problem that you have, if you hit the defence, there's the ball squeezing out, but does he get to it? Does he get to it before? It's hard to say.
It is. Kevin Crowthers
is in the way,
obscuring the view there.
I think he might have caught it, you know.
I do.
His arm still looks like he's on. If he's caught that, he's done a great job, that.
I think they'll give this.
Aaron Lester appealing for the knock-on.
He certainly loses it. There's no doubt about it. Losing control at 1 point.
Well, if he has, then surely that's a knock-on.
Well, if he catches it before it hits the ground, it's not a knock-on. Unless it hits the player, the Whitehaven player, and I'm not so sure it does.
Meanwhile, Francis Maloney, while all this is going on, Francis Maloney has decided he's going to kick the goal anyway.
I think he's just trying to trick him.
He's just had a bit of kicking practice. Well, Maloney in the end touching down.
Now then, will it count? No, it won't. But he'll be happy with it.
The try is awarded after all that. And Maloney's there, another go. Well, he can see the funny side of it.
I think everybody can here, mainly due to the fact that, okay, now if he misses this, it'll be incredible, because as Bill's already mentioned, whilst the video referee, Ben Thaler, was having a look at that, this guy popped it over and said, well, just in case. And as Terry said, he was trying to kid the referee, and maybe he did.
And it's 8 apiece now. Referee and try scorer just exchanging a joke. And it's Martin Robinson who set this up.
Beautiful play there. Used the dummy runner well. Back on the inside. Might not be the fastest these days, Francis Maloney, but the experience. Watch him offload. Any youngster watching, you don't give up the ghost. You go back on the inside. That's great support play. Tremendous stuff.
But you know, with that though, Steve-O, you got Dean Lawford and Francis Maloney throwing 2 passes that's cutting out 5 or 6 players, and that's what's getting them on the outside of this tight Whitehaven defence.
So game on. Haven, with those 2 tries from David Seeds and Steve Maiden, look to be taking a grip on the game. But Dewsbury have come back strongly. Talking of strongly, that's Jason Southwell on the field, as Hobson and Maloney get a well-earned breather. That's a good kick. That is a great kick. And Danny Moore and Austin Buchanan breathing down the neck of Gary Broadbent there to put him under pressure, and they're looking really to squeeze Whitehaven inside their own 20. That's 3 tackles gone. That's great work from this Dewsbury side. And Broadbent, oh dearly me, nearly went out with that one.
Certainly did. Morn did exceptionally well, but isn't it amazing? If you just scored a try, it can lift the spirits. You got Whitehaven, 2 quick tries, perhaps you thought they were just falling apart, Dewsbury. They come back well, Terry.
You do look at the energy levels of them, the urgency that they're showing. The big lads have got that extra step now, and they're all rushing up, and they're gaining the ball now on their own 20 now. Yeah, didn't roll, so let's see what the Whitehaven defence can do here.
Well, Ian Priest just put under a little bit of pressure with that pass from Bryn Powell, enabling Aaron Lester and Mark Bainbridge to close him down.
A little bit of a problem there. You could see that 2 or 3 of the Dewsbury players, was a fine kick, but they were very slow to get back into the defensive line. That cannot be good news for the coach, Andy Kelly.
Keegan Hurst playing the ball for Dewsbury. Another of the youngsters in Andy Kelly's squad, 18 years old, and Jason Southwell, 20 years old. Another new recruit, or Liam Finn. Had to be quick there before Mark Bainbridge got to that ball, and that was well, Lawford not impressed, but it was a little bit panic measures stuff there. Things didn't really go according to plan.
Well, he was put under a bit of pressure there by Fletcher. Even so, they're in the right area, in the attacking red zone. The thing is that you get the impression, Bill, that when Dewsbury get anywhere near the Whitehaven line, they've got the capability of scoring tries. Problem is, can they camp down there for a while?
Gary Broadbent made 119 appearances in his 5 years at the Salford City Reds, fondly remembered there, and it all began for him at Widnes as well. But now back home in Cumbria. Steve Maiden. There is Broadbent. What a fearless player he is. Now Ricky Wright. Up to halfway line for Whitehaven. Mattinson. Stephen Bannister in possession as well. Well, for a moment it looked as though that he and that ball had parted company. Bannister strongly linked with a move to Harlequins once this loan period ends. Harlequins very interested in the second rower.
Pretty good work from Fletcher there.
Little kick from Aaron Lester. Ian Priest positioned well, almost slithered his way out of the tackle of Steve Maiden. Austin Buchanan now.
Good play by Priest. Read the game exceptionally well. And again, Whitehaven getting a good attacking position, but full credit to these dudes, and he's given away a penalty. That silly play by Ricky Wright.
Classic performance from Danny Moore there, I thought.
Great Oscar.
He goes.
Very proud of that.
Yes.
He's even laughing.
Well, I'm not sure Haven captain Aaron Lester saw the funny side of it, and he told the referee as much. There's Ricky Wright, former Sheffield Eagle.
They know they're in a pretty big arm wrestle at the moment. To say sometimes when you score 2 quick tries, you psychologically you think, oh, this is going to be easy. It ain't. Dewsbury have come back exceptionally well.
Morn tackled by Ricky Wright. Change of direction. Kevin Crowthers now. Liam Finn. Great storming run from Jason Southwell. Former Huddersfield Giant Southwell. Here's Lawford now. Lawford
it was there.
Keegan Hurst could see the try line. 4 points was there. He saw his name on the scoreboard.
Well, I think he thought perhaps he might have been the dummy runner. You could see how Lawford just held the ball and threw the dummy. And the big fella thought, oh, it's not going to go to me. And you can't blame him, really.
Wait, John, wait.
Hurst, he should have had that ball straight away. Lawford should not have dummied.
It's interesting to see, Steve, how much they're attacking Whitehaven. You know, around the ruck, they're just pulling the big fellas in because they know if they pull them in around the ruck, Dean Lawford's going to have a lot of space on the outside.
A bit of a tactical battle being waged by the two coaches, Andy Kelly and Dave Rotherham.
Go.
And at the moment, it's level pegging, 8 apiece. And now Dewsbury will get possession. Richard Fletcher with the forward pass.
Well, they've rattled the cage of this Whitehaven outfit.
Wait, I'll tell you to put it in. All right.
Beg your pardon, it was Graham Mattinson popping the ball up to Ricky Wright.
Not so sure that looked too bad.
Out.
Obviously, the touch judge on this side thought so. Gave David Merrick the nod. And again, Dewsbury will just go forward, try to get into a good position. Dewsbury have been good in the last 20 minutes in regards to...
Oh, that looked pretty flat to me.
Yeah, it certainly did. They used a dummy run as well to Dewsbury.
Bretherton with a good run. Finn. Maloney. Lawford now. Lawford back on the inside. Crowthers. So Whitehaven, again, defending on their own line. And once more, Keegan Hurst goes without the ball and Gary Broadbent picks it up.
Well, there was no excuse on that occasion. He really should have gobbled that up and gone racing underneath the sticks. Nothing wrong with the pass at all. Good defence, got into him.
That's good defence from Dewsbury, and Whitehaven having trouble getting out of their own half at the moment. Steve Maiden trying to take them there.
Do you know, they've gone away from what they were doing really well with getting the ball to David Seeds. And I know they haven't had very good field position. A great run there.
That's great work from Graham Mattinson, and Mattinson's still going. Now for Derry Eelbeck. Eelbeck cuts back in field. He's got Aaron Lester outside him, but he's going to take the tackle. But now they are in the Dewsbury half.
Great work by Mattinson.
Duffy, Bainbridge, Bannister.
Will they pinpoint that short blind side? Now they're coming open.
Jackson, Duffy, back inside for Fletcher. Fletcher tackled by Jason Southwell. Duffy just stabs a little grubber kick in, and Ian Priest will watch that one go dead.
Just a little bit off song there from the little halfback Duffy.
That was high on Austin Buchanan.
Well, they're trying to muscle this Dewsbury game, and I'm afraid they're getting caught by the official, and rightly so. No doubt. Swinging arm. Silly play by Jackson.
Haven on the end of a 7-2 penalty count at the moment, the wrong end of it.
Well, it's amazed me that this Whitehaven outfit, they really got the ball flying out into the three quarters, stripped Dewsbury twice, and now they're starting to try to prove to everybody how tough they are. Play of the game.
Well,
open.
Not sure Ricky Wright was in agreement in that decision on that tackle. Jason Southwell now, and that's another penalty.
Well, he's got to call a captain as this official, surely.
Well, I think he has.
It's just continual messing around at the tackling area to play the ball, stripping the ball. It's about the 5th time they've been caught. There's been 4 or 5 high shots.
Yeah, I've got the eye on you. You calm it down, get your lads back on it. You know what'll happen next.
So 8-2, the penalty count in Dewsbury's favour now.
In with me,
Aaron Lester gets the talking to.
He'll take the 2. Will Dewsbury, that's for sure.
Do you know what, though? They're getting very frustrated, Whitehaven, aren't they? Because Dewsbury have got a very good kicking game. They're keeping them down there. And you can see that the Dewsbury defence is really compact. And that's causing Whitehaven to look up and see the numbers. And you can see the Whitehaven big lads saying, give me the ball, I'll do something. And it's not working. They're getting turned on the back and they're getting slow play the balls. And that's why Dewsbury are back in the game.
Well, it hasn't helped them by the fact that Whitehaven have given away so many penalties and therefore plenty of ground.
Maloney looking for his 3rd success of the evening. And he makes his point. 10-8, his side leads. Roger the Ram, a very happy Ram.
They've commissioned it after Steve-O.
He's sponsored by an Undertaker, Roger the Ram, you know.
I must say that...
He was on his last legs, apparently. Stuffing was falling out. and they found a local undertaker to sponsor their mascot.
He's got the teeth from
Kept him alive.
the same dentist as well.
No penalties, discipline.
And Dewsbury very much alive. They were 8-2 down, now they're ahead 10-8.
Oh, he's lost it. Well, this is a golden opportunity. There's less than 7.5 minutes left on this first half. No doubt about it. Lost control of it.
Andy, keeping your head in.
Well, they need to up the tempo, Whitehaven,
Hold your line.
because the red, amber and blacks will not fold, that's for sure. They've come back exceptionally well.
Eelbeck trying to use his pace. Good defence from Danny Morn to get across there. Maloney once more with the tackle.
Well done, Alex. 2 work.
There's surely some big forward towards the sticks and then maybe a switch to that blind side. Done it a couple of times already. Whitehaven.
Jackson is stopped just short of those posts, and he's going to be penalised, I think, or is he?
Cold release, move.
He's going to win the penalty. I just thought for a moment that Jackson's reaction there was going to cost him, but the penalty goes Haven's way,
Alex,
and they'll go for the points.
cold release 3 times. You kept hold of it.
Well, has he called held or not so sure? Well, the only thing I can think of is that Mr. Merrick said held and he continued on.
Hold line for us, fellas.
Well, anyway, the penalty
Dave.
And that's great respect.
goes to Haven, and Richard Fletcher will go for the 2 points.
It is respect, Steve, but it's a time for the Whitehaven team to recharge the penalties as they get the 2 points to draw level, because they've been under a lot of pressure, haven't they? They've been defending a lot, they've given a lot of penalties away, and Dewsbury have been playing on the front foot and playing with a lot of confidence.
And very basic and good rugby league football. He won't be happy, David Rotherham. Might be pleased about the scoreline. At least they're not behind anymore.
Discipline, guys. Let's tidy it up round the road.
But we fully expected a little bit more fire, especially from their forwards. Haven't seen much of that.
Staying on, guys. Staying
So
on.
10 apiece.
Good line. No pens, fellas.
The last time they met in July 2003, here was an 18-all draw.
Here, Keegan. Hold.
In fact, Whitehaven haven't won here since May 1996, and it's tough again tonight. 10-10 the scoreline.
And it is amazing, Bill, mainly due to the fact that Dewsbury, of course, they haven't won a home National League game all season. They're on track if they keep this up.
They've saved the game for you, Steve-O. Murder Dewsbury.
They know royalties in town.
4 movement. Work here, fellas. Hold. Go.
Well, they're making a good effort of it here against one of the promotion favourites, Broadbent.
No
Full
penalty.
credit to the
Into the
coach.
tackle there.
Full credit, Bill. Andy Kelly, the coach, he knew in the first 15 minutes that the first and second markers in defence were very poor. They switched that up. Oh, they've gone high.
Austin Buchanan getting away from 3 there, almost away from the 4th man. But they're on the charge now with Keegan Hurst. Hurst takes the tackle. Can they end this first half with a flourish, the Dewsbury Rams? Here's Maloney. Pops the ball back to Martin Robinson. Haven hanging on as time runs out in this first 40 minutes. Maloney once more. Big Keegan Hurst, well, stopped in his tracks there. Good defence by Fletcher and Ricky Wright. Lawford back on the inside for Maloney. The double act.
Great tackle
Not
from
working
Fletcher.
there.
Picked it out well, knew the ball was coming back on the inside.
Little grubber kick, too strong.
You'll be furious with that, Dean Lawford. Knew he needed to have a little bit less weight on it.
In goal areas, very narrow.
Just a little bit too much punch to it.
Yeah. Hold here, guys. Hold.
So Whitehaven survive
No penalties.
that Dewsbury assault.
1. Move. Work.
An amazing Dewsbury first 15 minutes, as I mentioned, Terry, and found that they were very loose in that play the ball area and the defensive line, and Andy Kelly's got the message out. Come on, look at them. They're really getting off the mark.
It is, mate. It's amazing what a bit of field position does for you. When I say the speed of the line getting up, they weren't like that in the first 15 minutes, but the confidence has grew as they've got in the game, and they've realised that they're in the game, and the game that they can win as well, Steve-O.
Hold this is 5, fellas.
Mattinson is tackled on the halfway line for Whitehaven. Duffy just found himself a little bit more space for the kick, which is fielded by Ian Priest at full-back for the Dewsbury Rams.
One, move, John! Go, well done, Cox.
21, looks about 16, Ian Priest, that Dewsbury full-back.
Pleasant complexion you put in it, Bill.
A couple of minutes left in this first 40 minutes, and what an eventful one it's been, with Whitehaven taking a grip on the game, and then Dewsbury battling their way back into it. Maiden and Buchanan, the two wingers, battling with each other. Derry Eelbeck now, like so many of these players, once a Wathbrow Hornet, signed by this Whitehaven club. Ricky Wright.
Go.
Mark Jackson driving that ball up and then offloading to nobody in particular, but Duffy picks it up. Bannister over the top, good hands. Calvert, haven't seen anything of his pace so far, and nowhere for him to run there.
Again, solid defence, not going up in ones and twos, they're standing as a line, and that's what you need.
They go down that short side again with Duffy on the last. Bainbridge poised to put the kick in. He's going to chase his own. There's a boot there, and that'll be a goal line dropout.
Well, it's deemed as the official that the Dewsbury player went for it, and he's right.
Bostock it was, just stuck out a boot.
Stuck out the right boot. There'll be more pressure.
So Haven with an opportunity now at the end of this first half, maybe to get more points on the board.
Come on. No penalties, guys.
Into the arms of Aaron Lester. Morning with the tackle.
Probably get one more play of the ball. Maybe two if they're lucky.
Jackson again managing to squeeze that ball out. Ricky Wright stumbling, takes the tackle.
Hold. Go.
Duffy.
3 hands out.
Bannister tackled on the 10-metre line. Dewsbury in defending their own line as Bainbridge almost gets through. 4 tackles gone. And they're in again. Mattinson with the try. The substitute hooker hurtling onto that ball, and right at the death in this first half, Whitehaven regain the ascendancy. Graham Mattinson getting his first try of the season.
That's a way to come onto the football. He was in top gear by the time he received this. Bang! Nothing was going to stop him. Even if they'd have gone low, they'd have got nowhere near him. And Graham Mattinson has put Whitehaven, the Cumbrians, in front at half-time with barely seconds to go. Good work by this guy. Good move by Dave Rotherham, the coach, to bring him on. They're looking a little bit sluggish at times, late in this first half, should I say.
So the kicking duties go back to Mark Bainbridge. Fletcher succeeding with the penalty short time ago. Now Bainbridge, with his round-the-corner kicking style, lands that one. And that's the final kick of the first half, which has swung to and fro, but ends in favour of this Whitehaven side, looking to go top of the table. And after the first 40 minutes, they're ahead by 16 points to 10.
Well, a really tight first half here in Dewsbury, and the home side leaving the field to a great ovation from their fans. They have yet to win a home match in National League One this season, and they held them for such a long time, the team that's aiming for Super League. But that Graham Mattinson try just before half-time gives them a 6-point advantage. Live action from the National League here on this Boots and All special, and half-time here in Dewsbury. The Rams 10, Whitehaven 16. Dewsbury hanging on to the shirt tails of Whitehaven for quite some time. and on course now for at least a bonus point. If they lose by 12 in this division, they get a bonus, by 12 or less, they get a bonus point, and they have 3 of those already to Dewsbury. 16 points to 10, Whitehaven. Half-time here. Don't forget, coming up later in Boots and All, we look back to last weekend's matches in the Super League. Dave Hadfield's off the beaten track again in places where rugby league is a passion. This week we find him north of the border, and John Money, will be talking to him, looking forward to the forthcoming Test match against Great Britain. John Money, of course, is the French national coach. But right now, let's go back to pitch side and look back on that first half of Dewsbury against Whitehaven here. It's Steve-O and Bill.
I have to tell you, Eddie, that as we came over the pitch here to our pitch side position, the ground announcer wondered whether Steve-O was going to join the Dewsbury Rams cheerleaders out on the field. Thankfully, he decided against that. He's down here on the sidelines to look back, Steve-O, on a first half where Dewsbury really exceeded expectations. Given that they haven't won a home game this season, they've done pretty well to push Whitehaven so far.
Yeah, they certainly have, and I'm sure that Andy Kelly will be quite pleased in that first 40 minutes. OK, they're a little bit astray in the first 15 minutes, especially in their defence in and around the ruck. And it wasn't surprising that Whitehaven certainly took the lead. It was good play by the forwards that got them into a position, seeds out wide, and it wasn't long after that they got their second try. Elbeck the pass, Maiden into the corner. They just couldn't string out, and they'd run out of numbers. Great pass out there, and it looked for a moment that I'm afraid that Dewsbury were going to be in for a bit of a hiding. But full credit to them, the probing of Lawford and Maloney got them into a position, and they got the ball out wide, and it's the experienced Maloney yet again. Watch the delayed pass, and watch how he comes back on the inside. That was superb work, and that really lifted the Red, Amber and Blacks, and rightly so. It was only in the dying seconds Mattinson, the substitute hooker, put them in to perhaps a lead that they'll be looking forward to extend in that second half. It won't be easy. Of course, Andy Kelly's side, all they have to do is make sure that they get good, hard work in the forwards, but most importantly, that Maloney gets his kicking game as good as it was in the first 40 minutes.
Well, we're back across the pitch to our commentary position, which means that Steve-O, Eddie, gets another opportunity to join the Dewsbury Rams cheerleaders.
He's a little bit older, a little bit wiser maybe than the last time he actually played here in Dewsbury, but this is one of Steve-O's old teams, of course, this Dewsbury team, and they did really well. Maloney and Lawford turning the clock back for Dewsbury here, but they trail at half-time by 16 points to 10, and the second half is on the way. Two more from the Engage Super League this weekend, live here on Sky Sports. Tomorrow at 7:30, the Friday game is Leeds against Warrington. That's on Sky Sports 1 and HD1. And on Sunday this week, Sunday at 6, it's a vital game for Wakefield and Hull KR. That's on Sky Sports 2 and HD2 from 6 on Sunday evening. But we are here in Dewsbury this Thursday night, and that's the way of it at half-time. The Dewsbury Rams 10, Whitehaven 16. Tight as a drum in that first half, and the second 40 still to come. And Ryan Bailey of the Leeds Rhinos in the crowd here, watching this match ahead of the game against Warrington Wolves on Sky Sports tomorrow. Let's go back to the commentary. It's all to play for in the second half. Terry O'Connor, Steve-O and Bill Arthur.
So Whitehaven ahead at the break, but only just. They've only lost one game in National League One this season, and that was a surprise defeat at Doncaster earlier this month before the Lakers went into meltdown. So they've been in pretty good shape, but this Dewsbury Rams side, newly promoted to National League One, the Division 2 champions last year, certainly making them work for the 3 points here tonight. 3 points that if Haven get them, will take them back, or take them to, the top of National League One. And they, like Castleford, Widnes, one or two other sides, I'm sure, in National League One, with their eyes on the grand final at Headingley Carnegie in October. It's Dewsbury then, first touch of the ball in this second half, with Andy Hobson back in the fray, and running the ball up, and he and Maloney there, Dominic Maloney, very instrumental in wrestling this Dewsbury side back into the game in the first half. And that's a deep kick that Gary Broadbent is going to watch run dead.
It's an important facet in the second half that man, Francis Maloney, makes sure that he tries to keep turning the Whitehaven side around. He was instrumental in bringing the Red, Amber and Blacks back into this match. And they'll want to start and make sure that they're solid defence. Oh, that will help.
Ricky Wright is furious with himself there. First set of the second half.
Takes his eye off the football. See him just have a little bit of a look.
Keep it in for me.
Doesn't matter at what level you play this game, you've got to keep your eye on the football.
So Dewsbury in possession. Maloney trying to duck under the tackles there.
Oh, go.
The other Maloney, young Dominic.
Marcus. Oh, go.
And now here's Hobson to the big men, doing the work early on for this Dewsbury Rams side, who trail by 6 points. Liam Finn, Lawford now. Crowthers was the miss-out man. Priest, they've got Austin Buchanan out wide. Buchanan puts the step on, but Steve Maiden stuck to his task well. Brings down the winger. Priest. Dewsbury with real momentum. Robinson.
Pretty solid defence who are waiting for the wide receiver.
Bostock trying to get that ball away in the tackle, but he's well wrapped up by Graham Mattinson, scorer of that try just on half-time. But here's Hobson trying to barge his way over, and that's more good defence. Again, Mattinson. Maloney, so this time they go wide. Lawford looked to get that ball back in field to Priest, but it's come loose, and a promising situation comes to nothing for the Dewsbury Rams. Good defence from Whitehaven.
Certainly did. They picked out Lawford, and bang, good work from Bainbridge. It's all about picking out your man that's going to come into and select the football. Raises his arm, and he knows that he really should have kept hold of that football.
Well, let's go down to the sidelines among the spectators. We've seen Ryan Bailey here, another Super League figure. John Keir, the Wakefield coach, is talking to Ben.
John, a close match. You enjoying what you're seeing?
I am, yeah. It's great to sort of come to Dewsbury and have a look and see what the National League 1 lads are doing. And I think the standard's improving in this level, as well as in National League 2, as well as at Super League.
And it looked like Whitehaven were going to run away with it, but Dewsbury given an excellent account of themselves.
Yeah, I thought they showed great character. I think that obviously with Andy Kelly, they're well coached and well structured, and they've got two good half-backs who are directing them about the field. So it's a close encounter, and I hope it remains so to the very death.
And players from the National League feeding into Super League. You've bought a couple of those players, Matt Blaymire among them.
Yeah, and I think it's an area that people need to look at, and obviously with it being shown on Sky it makes it easier, but I don't think you can beat actually going to a live game. You can see the shape of it, see who's working off the ball. It's just more enjoyable in the atmosphere of the ground generally.
Thanks very much, John.
Pleasure.
The penalty then takes Whitehaven deep into this Dewsbury half, and Fatty Alofa is back out there to use his considerable presence to take Whitehaven forward. Mattinson. Duffy now. Duffy, change of direction. Broadbent. Nowhere for him to go. Good defence from the Dewsbury Rams that time. Here is Duffy. Long ball out wide, and Seeds is flat, and that's great defence by his opposite number, Chris Hall. Mattinson. Bainbridge now. Bainbridge back to Mattinson. Again, Dewsbury defending in numbers. Three around Graham Mattinson there.
Again, Dewsbury not coming out. They're just hanging in one straight line. They're confusing this Whitehaven attack.
On the last, Duffy puts the crossfield kick in. Calvert is there. Seeds is there, but it's Bryn Powell who comes up with the ball for the Dewsbury Rams, and they defended that set well.
What a good take as well. Good run from dummy half. Quick play of the ball. That's what's needed. Trying to catch this Whitehaven defence, who sometimes have been caught a couple of times. Look at this. Powell, great take.
No, Steve, well, I think they want to get John Duffy more into the game. They wouldn't have been very happy with the way they started out. That they gave 8 penalties away to 3 in the first half. Then Ricky Wright come up with a mistake. With a great break here, Kevin Crowthers.
Crowthers is tackled just inside that Whitehaven half. On the last, and Lawford hoists a spiralling kick. Broadbent, oh, what a take from Gary Broadbent. He had to move some to get to that.
Do you know, he'll take them all day as well, Gary Broadbent. Great defensive fullback, always works very hard on that in training after game. But what I was saying for Dean Lawford, Dewsbury have got Dean Lawford, and Whitehaven have got John Duffy. And John Duffy, the other week when they played Catalan, outplayed Stacey Jones.
That's right, he got man of the match in that game. And Haven gave a really good account of themselves in that Challenge Cup tie.
Well, the first 15 minutes in that first half, Whitehaven, they were running from the dummy half position. They were getting good ground forward. And they seem to have just slackened off in that department. They've got to get them sorted out. Can Duffy get a good kick away? Yes, it is.
Well, that's into space behind Austin Buchanan, and he's going to have to retreat all the way. And I don't think it's going to go dead. It will just dribble its way there.
He touched
down the slope. He touched it.
Yep.
And he can't believe it. Austin Buchanan says you're joking.
Not too impressed. He did some disco dancing late in the piece. Well, I think it may just have brushed the shorts or the sock. We'll see it. Yeah, I think it's just touched.
Oh, it did. Yes.
It's a belly button job.
No penalties, round. Let's go long.
So what looked like a kick destined to result in a tap on the 20 ends up as a goal line dropout in favour of Whitehaven, who have the ball back.
Go.
We'll never see Mattinson, the man who scored the try with barely seconds remaining of the first stanza. He really has got to start jumping out of that half-back position. Just quite happy to keep ladling the ball out wide.
Fletcher hit that one at pace and does well to offload. Here is Mattinson again. Tries the dummy, still going Graham Mattinson.
Francis, come on.
Whitehaven looking for more points, trying to put a bit of distance between themselves and these dogged Dewsbury Rams, and they could do here. Oh, and Maiden's put that down, and Buchanan then knocks on.
That was
so
try.
Take the first.
It was try time. Yeah, he came off the whitewash at the very, very last moment, and that should have been a try. Austin Buchanan was in no man's land. They would not have stopped him. He knows it too.
He's had experience at the highest level as Steve Maiden. So that was a golden opportunity for this Whitehaven side. There haven't been that many in what is turning out to be a very tight game, and I think it's significant that while Dewsbury have only got the 1 win, or rather the 2, they have managed to pick up 3 bonus points. Andy Kelly's side, when they've been beaten, have only been beaten narrowly this season. They do hang in there, but they've conceded possession, and this time it's Andy Hobson who's gone without it. He's not happy.
Well, I think he's saying that the pass wasn't all that good, but wasn't all that bad either. He gave Francis Maloney a right mouthful there. Should have taken it.
Should have taken it, Steve. It's a tough ball to catch there when he's dipping in front and you've got people up in your face like that.
He was motoring as well. Oh, and so's Gary Broadbent straight towards the touchline. Great defence from this Dewsbury side. Maloney gets pats on the back, so does Bryn Powell.
What a game. The standoff Francis Maloney is having. 15 years has been around as a pro, and he may not be the fastest player in the world, but he puts himself into a good position.
Do you know what? I played against Francis Maloney, under 11s, and a curtain raiser at Wembley, and he was actually propping against me. I'm stayed at prop all my career. He's moved out to standoff. What's gone wrong there?
He had the brains.
It's called class, Terry. And that's something that Dewsbury need a little bit of at the moment. They're doing the right thing. They're doing a lot of running from dummy half. They're catching out Whitehaven. Oh, pretty slow there. They get into dummy half. Good job that Crowthers was there.
Crowthers taking this Dewsbury side into the Whitehaven half. Well, it's been a strong start to the second half from Whitehaven, but Dewsbury have managed to see off the threat.
He's been very impressive, hasn't he? Dominic Maloney. I wonder if he calls Francis uncle, but the way he just rips into him, and you see Dean Lawford, and
Lawford's kick is going to put Steve Maiden under pressure. That ball went back, and it ends up in the hands of Derry Eelbeck. Well, that was probably a stroke of luck for Whitehaven.
Very fortunate indeed. Good high kick. No one really wanted to go for it. Ricocheted off a Dewsbury player, I feel. And right into the arms of Mark Bainbridge.
Craig Calvert with the tackle. Still to see any sign of this blistering pace that Craig Calvert has. He was second only to Darren Albert in terms of the fastest man in the game a couple of years ago.
Well, they'll only get that gap out wide if they start making them constricted in Dewsbury, and you can only do that by quick play the ball, runs from dummy half. That means you've got to bring in extra defence down the middle. You've got to work hard to give you three-quarters a chance.
Bainbridge's kick straight into the arms of Ian Priest.
That was a poor effort. And not the best chase. OK, they got to him, Mattinson. But they allowed the full back plenty of room to move.
Then a good run from Bryn Powell. Austin Buchanan now. The crowd below us here really getting behind this Dewsbury side, who trail only by 6 points. It's turning out to be a real close contest.
Well, they can sense perhaps they can get back into this game.
Lawford. Good work from Danny Moore. Morn slipping one tackle, eventually stopped. And then they get the penalty. And it was Fletcher who was penalised.
Stick it into the corner. I know they've got Francis Maloney's boot out there, but there's many opportunities. This is where they want to go right into the corner, apply the pressure, turn the tourniquet. They're struggling a bit, Whitehaven.
So Steve Maiden at the moment just, I think, picked up a knock in the tackle there. He was second man on the scene. He's got a cut on his chin. He got whacked by a boot. Sure enough, Liam Finn just sticks that one into the burger van. Kevin Crowthers. Strong second half so far from him. Lawford. Maloney trying to bamboozle this Whitehaven defence.
Good work by John Duffy. Wasn't going to take the dummy. There's a half a gap through there.
Robinson.
Lawford looks as though he's shouting to take first receiver.
Hobson was the dummy runner. Lawford. Back to Maloney. Dominic Maloney, that is. Still the danger. Lawford, though, quickly closed down by Bainbridge. Good work. So Maloney with the kick, the crossfield kick. Calvert is underneath it, he's lost it, and the ball has come up, and it could be a try from Chris Hall.
It is a try. They'll give this one. Great kick into the corner. Whitehaven player knew he was offside, couldn't go for the ball. Chris Hall said, I love it. Thank you very much indeed. And the Rams are back in this game. Good build-up, good work, good solid play, no panic. Give me the football, no pressure. Pinpoint accuracy. Couldn't deal with it. Wasn't the best from Calvert, came off his head. And the Dewsbury centre, Chris Hall, said, I'll have this. Watch for the winger, it hits him. And there's no way in the world that Seeds can touch that. Maybe he should have gone for it, maybe just given away the penalty. Either way, Hall says, I'm taking the 4. This is a pressure kick. In all the years' experience, this man knows how important this is.
Well, he's got 100% record so far this evening, but this is probably the most difficult kick he's faced, but he looks as though he's got that one on target. The crowd will tell you behind him in this popular side. He's landed that one and he's levelled the scores as Francis Maloney. 16 points apiece.
Penalties are definitely costing Whitehaven there, Andy. Oh, you can tell when a team gives a penalty away, that means that they're on the back foot and they're trying to slow the ruck back to get the dominance in the tackle. And you can't give Francis Maloney the ball or Dean Lawford the ball at that in the 20, because they'll just take it to the line, they'll pull the big fellas and they'll come up with a great kick like that.
Plenty of passion here at Dewsbury. And plenty of passion out on the field from their side. Looking for their first home win of the season. And they're pushing the side that is aiming for top spot all the way here. Level pegging. And Whitehaven with a bit of work to do if they are going to come away from here with the points.
They've got to change their tactics. I'm surprised that Dave Rotherham has not picked up on it. As I mentioned, 15 minutes in the first half, the first 15, they took full control. And look at Dewsbury, how they're running from dummy half. And they're just pulling in this Whitehaven defence, making them tired.
It's amazing, Steve. Enthusiasm is a massive thing in the game. And just Whitehaven, the simple thing is, Whitehaven have just been out-enthused.
Yeah. He's not happy with himself. He's been that way quite a few times as Dean Lawford. But he knows that they can get on that 30-metre line. What a transformation. They were all at sea, weren't they, the Red, Amber and Blacks? And then they got their defence right. And Whitehaven, for some unknown reason, just going one out, far too often, not asking the questions of the Dewsbury defence.
Leroy Joe on the field playing that ball.
Well,
one of those players involved in this testimonial campaign this season.
Bill, that's the first run in the second half, we've seen from dummy half from Whitehaven. Maybe the message has got down to them.
Seeds with the tackle, or takes the tackle rather. Duffy with the kick. Now then, can Buchanan cope with this one? He's under pressure, he deals with it. Oh no, the ball's been snaffled. Fletcher trying to keep it alive. It still is alive. Good hands from Maiden. Leroy Joe. It's back to 6, says the referee, David Merrick. Well, that was great work from Dewsbury to snatch that ball.
Great work from
Steve Maiden.
Great work from Buchanan there as well. Snuffed out any chance.
Oh, Trindle. It opened up for him for a moment there. Then it's shut again with Maloney and Crowthers. Leroy Joe. Busy since he's been on. Mattinson. Duffy pops the ball up. Bannister. He's just short of that try line.
Good work by Martin Robinson there. Made sure he couldn't get the ball down. Got from dummy half.
Held up, I think it was Duffy who was at the bottom of that one. John Duffy trying to burrow his way over. The referee couldn't get a good view of it. Does video ref Ben Thaler.
Does he twist? That's the only chance of scoring, if he can twist around. That's a try.
Oh, he's got that down.
Yeah. He seems quite happy. Chris Hall in attendance, but I think that this will be given. Spins around. Yeah. That'll be given. I don't think that he loses possession. And Duffy, yeah, has come up with a try at a vital moment. Barely minutes after Dewsbury has levelled the scoreline. It looks like Whitehaven take the lead.
Duffy just did enough there. 7th try of the season. And he's edged Haven back in front.
Close to the line. Only the second time they've actually run from dummy half, and Duffy has made sure that the boys from Cumbria take control of this match yet again. But they know it's still going to be a hard task. Got to concentrate on the rest of this game. And the inexperienced Mark Bainbridge, can he turn 4 to 6?
Bainbridge has pushed that one across the face of the posts, and goal kicking could cost Whitehaven dear this evening. Only 2 successes from 5 so far. Bainbridge and Fletcher between them.
Didn't look too convinced, does he, Dave Rotherham? And I think he would have to put his hands up and say that the Dewsbury defence has really been solid.
So Whitehaven edge back in front, a sort of shortish restart from Dewsbury. Well, this is the first of the Rugby League fixtures on Sky Sports, and coming up tomorrow evening, Sky Sports 1 and HD 1 from 7:30. It's the Leeds Rhinos against the Warrington Wolves. Can the Wolves get back on track? And John Keir's Wakefield side in action on Sunday, 6 p.m. against Hull Kingston Rovers, and that's on Sky Sports 2 and HD 2.
What a scrap that will be.
That will be a scrap, a bit like this one, which is turning into a great scrap. Duffy, the most recent try scorer, puts that one a puff of dust as it bounces in front of Ian Priest, and then he tries to step his way out of trouble.
Leroy Jones gave him a lot of direction, and knowing that they weren't winning the ruck in the first 20 minutes of this half, but he's come on and he's seen that there's gaps outside of the first three defenders, and he's just trying to get his big men running at the smaller men on the outside.
Such an important facet of the game these days is when you bring in the substitutes. 17-man game.
Lawford, good break from Lawford, good hands as well. Jason Southwell clinging onto that one, down round his knees that was, on the last.
Plenty of air, surely.
It is from Maloney. The last one caused all sorts of problems, but Broadbent is solid as a rock underneath that one. Nevertheless, it's going to be a goal line dropout.
What a great tackle from Francis Maloney. He did everything right. He made sure that he didn't make contact until Broadbent's feet hit the deck. You can't tackle a man up in the air. And it's moments like that, the experience tells. He's had a fantastic game as a standoff, Francis Maloney.
Well, what a great take from Gary Broadbent as well. Still showing that after all these years, still one of the best in the business under the high ball. But it's Dewsbury with the wind in their sails at the moment. It's Haven ahead on the scoreboard. And Dewsbury looking to exert a bit more pressure. Young Luke Haig.
He'll just keep plugging away. Get into a good position. Lawford and Maloney, they've come up with the tricks.
Hobson.
Great run.
Running over the top of the Haven defenders there. Haig. Lawford. Good work from Lawford. Oh, and then they coughed the ball up. Bretherton couldn't take it. It looked as though it had opened up, and he's kicking himself.
Furious. Alex Bretherton. Lawford has come alive in the last 5 minutes. Not really under pressure from John Duffy. Nice offload from the experienced Lawford. This is where they've got to dig deep now. Red, amber and black. They've got to make sure that their defence is pretty solid. It's a pretty good day so far.
Eelbeck takes the tackle. And here's Graham Mattinson now. So Haven again being made to work very hard for the territory. At least the penalty count has gone down.
Well, the stats will tell you, Bill, that there's been very few opportunities for the wingers on both sides, and that gives you some indication of how strong both defences have been throughout for most of the part of this game.
Bannister taking the ball infield. Duffy now on the last, gets it to Broadbent, and Broadbent hoists a kick. Buchanan claims it. No problems for the winger this time. Leroy Joe and Gary Broadbent driving him back though.
Put him under a lot of pressure, Austin Buchanan, but apart from just one error in the first half, he's acquitted himself quite well.
This now again is a dangerous time for Dewsbury with Mark Jackson coming on. As you see him in the first half there with a big shot. In the first half they're coming up with the plays, he seems to be offloading at will, and as well as you always call for, Steve, they brought Aaron Smith on now to go with Graham Mattison. I think that if they get on the front foot, they'll definitely be running from dummy half.
Well, Smith has been off the field, Aaron Smith that is, took a bit of a knock in the eye.
And also Dewsbury, they've thrown on Luke Haig, the hooker, number 9, keep an eye out for him.
There he is, Haig in at the play the ball. Only 19 years old, a Thornhill Trojans product. Strong local club. There's Calvert.
Been a damn
to the ground.
Been a damn fine nursery, hasn't it, the Thornhill Rugby League Club?
especially to this club, Dewsbury.
As has Dewsbury more.
And Shawcross, of course. They've certainly got some young talent in this area.
Duffy looking for a 40-20. He's got the angle right. Oh, he's just run out of space. Very nearly pulling one off, John Duffy. Instead, it's a tap restart on the 20-metre.
Fine effort, just a little bit too strong. Ooh, swinging arm there by Steve Trindle. Remember, on so many occasions in that first half, it looked as though Whitehaven going to keep Dewsbury down and gave away a silly penalty. That's one-on-one, and he's had the ball stolen.
That was great work from Derry Eelbeck. Just ripped that ball in the tackle, and Whitehaven have it back and are in a great position here. Bretherton with a strong tackle. That's knock on from Leroy Joe, though.
They're trying to overcook it a little bit. Instead of going back to real solid basics, as we keep mentioning, is that you've got to do the hard work first. You've got to try to kid the opposition as to you're going down the middle, then you can do the link. We haven't seen much of that, Terry. Duffy and Bainbridge. Maybe Mark Bainbridge, not the experienced player that they need.
Well, not Steve-O, but that's credit to the way that Dewsbury have been playing the game, and have been playing it in Whitehaven's half. You see, as any half-back always does, they always come alive when they're in the opposition's 20.
Well, Dewsbury Rams very much alive in this game. Oh, and then they concede the penalty. Didn't play the ball correctly.
I know, but I often find that a little bit pedantic. The man's in the way. The rule states after doing the tackle, you've got to get out of the way. And as far as I'm concerned, Bainbridge didn't do that.
You guys, come on. Work with me.
Danny Morn will be furious. I don't think his coach Andy Kelly will be impressed either. This could be a vital time. Oh, he's got it away.
Eelbeck for Maiden. So Whitehaven, from that penalty, just a few metres away from this Dewsbury line. Maiden is down and signalling that he's got a problem, having played that ball. Aaron Smith back out there. You can see he's got a shiner. Broadbent. They've lost a little bit of momentum here. So Aaron Smith trying to generate a bit. Stephen Bannister. Well, if this is his final appearance for Whitehaven, and by the sound of things it is, he's made a good impression here. Bainbridge, Eelbeck just had to put the brakes on to take that pass. He's lost the ball and Dewsbury have snaffled it. Buchanan, I think, is under there in possession.
Well, the man at dummy half, Dean Lawford, is going to take a lot of responsibility now, because it looks as though Francis Maloney has been injured a couple of moments ago. Getting to that point where they've got to test their arm and do something a little bit different, maybe a chip over. Gary Broadbent, the fullback for Whitehaven, is very loose, very deep indeed.
So here's the fullback. Beg your pardon, it's Bryn Powell, in fact, taking that ball up.
Maybe a chip over.
It is. Steve-O read the script. Oh, and they were offside. Referee David Merrick is going to bring him back.
Oh, I'm not so
Priest
sure
was
about that.
ahead of the kicker.
Well, at 20 points to 16 and is going to the bin, I think it said a few things which is not wise.
And Ian Priest still chipping away.
He won't do himself any favour by pointing at the official either. I know he's furious, but I can't see anything wrong with that. None whatsoever. Look for the impact on the white ball onto the boot, and there's only one man in front, and he's nowhere near going to challenge for it, and that is a bad call, a very bad call indeed. That was try time, Terry.
It was, but you know what as well, Steve? Andy Kelly would be furious with that, because I've never seen a referee change his mind on giving a penalty, and he just sent him to the bin for simple just dissent, which hopefully for Dewsbury won't cost them.
Well, down to 12, the crucial phase of the game, clinging on to Whitehaven, just 4 points in it, but this is a golden opportunity for Haven. Here is Aaron Smith. They're trying to get him into touch, but Craig Calvert And David Seeds making sure he stays in the field of play.
Well, you'd have to look for John Duffy to come up with something. There he is with the football.
Here is Broadbent, shows it to Trindle.
They're doing that short blind side, are they? No, he's going on his own.
Leroy Joe trying to muscle his way to the line. He's lost that ball.
Good effort. That'll be a tap on the 20. Whitehaven desperate to get back in their line of defence. Leroy Joe nearly had the glory and lost it. In a good position. Boy, it's been a thriller, this.
And played at great speed, and credit to both teams. There's a lot of lads there who are semi-pro who come to train every night time, and they don't look out of place, do they? Both look two very fit units.
Yeah, fair dues. Several of these players will be back home tonight, the Whitehaven lads, and they'll be in at work tomorrow morning. Some of them on the early shift, and with bumps and bruises as well.
Surely they're going to give this plenty of height.
Lawford does. Broadbent, eyes on the ball, and he manages to come up with that one as well. Supreme.
He's brave, isn't he?
And he's still going.
Oh, things like that can just turn the game.
Inspirational, aren't they?
Yeah, nearly to the halfway line from the keg. And
used to have one with Chris Rydlinski. When he used to put the ball up, you knew for the fact that he was going to catch the ball, and that's great for the Whitehaven forwards who've worked so hard to know that the ball goes up and Gary Broadbent catches it.
Aaron Smith.
That looked a bit
Aaron Lester now.
Well, into the final 10 now, Bill, and I think Whitehaven will be quite happy just to keep camp down there, make sure that the kicking game's good. Oh, why do you want to offload in there? They've got away with it. Or have they?
Thanks to the quick reactions of John Duffy, and it's still alive with Bannister now. Bannister. Tackled by Martin Robinson. On the last tackle, Duffy. They're running it. Derry Eelbeck back in field, but he's well wrapped up. That'll be the turnover. Well, problems for Whitehaven with Steve Maiden going off. We saw him carried off just a few moments ago. We can get news of him from Ben on the sidelines.
And it's not good news, Bill. It's a right knee ligament problem. He's sat in the Whitehaven dugout with his knee strapped up and in ice. Well, Steve Maiden missed last week's game for his honeymoon. Well, we can say that honeymoon is over now for Steve Maiden, I think.
And there's another Whitehaven player down. It's Ricky Wright, who I think took a bang in the face.
Yeah, it was a clash of heads.
Play continuing, right in the background there, getting treatment. Obviously got a bang on the nose.
Good work from the referee, David Merrick. Realised that Whitehaven perhaps would have been launching down on that right-hand side. This is the incident. Bang.
Oh, it's his own teammate, Derry Eelbeck.
Eelbeck came up with the hardest head. And Ricky Wright felt that right onto the nose. That'll be broken. Don't think there'll be any doubts about that.
Be a long trip home to Whitehaven.
Certainly will. You've had plenty of experience in that, Terry. Would you agree that might be?
I did. I had one. Neil Cowie clashed heads with me at St Helens. Obviously, it's fixed now, though. Back to my beautiful best, Steve-O, unlike yourself.
Here is Leroy Joe again. Fatia Lofa to seal it maybe for Whitehaven.
Yeah, I'll give this.
And when it came to it, it was brutal and simple from Whitehaven. And the popular former junior Kiwi steaming onto that ball and thundering over under the posts for surely another two for this Whitehaven side.
Well, if you lose possession, you're going to pay the price. Was there a hand in there from Aaron Smith? No, according to the official. And the direct route underneath the sticks. Beautiful offload there by Jackson and the big fella from New Zealand. 10 years up in Cumbria, and that is a very good try indeed.
A first try of the season for David Fatia Lofa, as you saw there. He was a junior Kiwi alongside Henry Paul, Dave Rotherham. Twitching in that hot seat, but must be sitting a little bit more comfortably now. That try putting more daylight between his side and this Whitehaven team, who are still down to 12. Bainbridge will try and add 2 more points. And this right in front of the posts. And Haven possibly breathing a little bit more easily after this, but you wouldn't bank against spirited response from this Dewsbury side, but 10 points in it now, I think the biggest advantage at any point in the game.
Well, they're looking a little bit down at the moment, the Dewsbury side, but there's a try scorer that has made the Haven fans very, very happy. They've really got to test their arm now, Dewsbury, and it's been a great effort from them, I must say. It's always difficult when you go into another league, when you get promoted, Bill, and it's hard to keep up with the pace, but they've done that today.
Do you know, I think I tried a different kick-off option than kick to Gary Broadbent. Seems to be taking him all day on, put pressure on somebody else and look for somebody else to kick to.
Broadbent, though, on his haunches in the background there, which is a worrying sight. He's got a bang on the thigh. He's getting a bit of treatment on the run. Aaron Lester.
Up the tempo
so 10 points in it. Can Dewsbury hang on at least for a bonus point? 12 the required margin. Can they close the gap? Bannister with the tackle. Buchanan juggling with it. It should be a lot more comfortable for Whitehaven, of course, outscoring Dewsbury by 5 tries to 2, but goal kicking hasn't been their strongest suit this evening, making life a bit more difficult for them. That's to take nothing away from this Dewsbury side, who really have pushed them all away. But it looks as though Haven are going to take the 3 points and go to the top of National League One.
Great tackle there by David Seeds. Been good in that department.
Lawford again, Broadbent is underneath it. That one is...
Well, that was far too
very
deep,
comfortable, yeah.
But he was put under a lot of pressure, and that really has been the difference, I suppose, in many ways, is that they've just been able to find the gap at the vital moment of Whitehaven. But Andy Kelly, the Dewsbury coach, will be quite happy with their performance. It really has been a good effort.
Come on, Andy.
But it'll still leave Dewsbury looking for their first home win of the season. Aaron Lester tackled on the halfway line. Fatty Alofa. Duffy. Can they finish with a flourish here? Mattinson, Bannister, back in field.
Pretty fancy work that. Surely they'll kick into the touch area.
Bainbridge to his feet slowly. Duffy drills that kick against the shins of Austin Buchanan. And that'll be the turnover, will it?
Should be. No, it's on the scrum.
He played at the ball.
Played at the ball.
Ooh, that was... Well...
I think he's deemed that he's stuck a stray leg out, Austin.
Stuck a stray out.
I think that, do you know, one of the things that's been, as John Duffy kicks the ball, yeah,
you're right.
He's played at that.
Yeah, just moved the right boot.
One of the things that's been very stand out for me is the defensive shape and the offensive shape of Whitehaven. Sorry, they just seem to have like so many people in motion like that. With a great ball.
Calvert eventually gets the chance to show his speed, and he's away and under the posts. And for the first time, really, this evening, the Dewsbury defence just melted away there. They ran out of numbers on their right-hand side, and Calvert gets his 17th try of the season to really wrap up the victory for Whitehaven.
Had a little bit of luck. Austin Buchanan definitely made a play at it, and it's good work here on that short blind side. Bannister's pass, did well running out in the centres, and this guy, he is a speed merchant, that's for sure. Good solid work. Suck in, Bryn Powell left it, open run. I reckon he's the fastest in the league. And from all accounts, from that little sprint there, I think he's proved everybody that they're right. He's got plenty of pace.
Leroy Joe and Aaron Lester involved in the build-up to that try. And Bainbridge That one, straightforward 2 points, thumped home, 32-16. The bonus point disappearing for the Dewsbury Rams, and the Haven fans will be heading home, as will their coach, happy to have come through what has been a really tricky examination of their credentials.
It has, and just shows that you've got to play for the full 80 minutes, and Leroy Joe just noticing that they were short with Aaron Lester out wide. And I just think that I do feel sorry for Austin Buchanan, because he has had a very good game, but he was doing the right thing there, and if he would have come up with the play, they would have kicked the ball downfield, would have got Dewsbury back in the game.
I think you'd have to say, Bill, that 32-16 really doesn't show the effort.
Oh, and then they've lotted their copybook right at the end, and they'll get a consolation try from Jason Southwell, although video ref Ben Thaler is going to have to adjudicate as to whether he was short of the line.
No, he's got it over. It's a whitewash as far as I'm concerned.
Well, it means something for Jason Southwell. Could be his first try of the season. Oh, do you know?
It's there.
Where? There on the stair.
This is TRY. Got to take your advantage. And he certainly did, the big fella.
The try is awarded. And Jason Southwell, the former Huddersfield Giant, gets the try. Liam Finn adds the extras. And does that bring the bonus point back in sight? It does.
But what a reward for him there, scoring his first try by just not giving up the ghost and putting pressure on him. Leroy Jordan trying to pass it, bad ball really to Dave Fatilofa, but showed great urgency going up, putting pressure on him and making him come up with that mistake.
Yeah, they haven't thrown the towel in, have they? Not the best place to start playing open rugby league football. Here's a fraction, that's all you need.
That'll be a 50-metre try by the end of tonight, though.
Oh, well, I think David Seeds, who was right on the spot, was convinced that he was short.
No, I think the video referee got it spot on. Our cameras were very quick to bring it out, and as I say, quarter of an inch, that's all it takes. Blade of grass.
So Dewsbury, unless they concede another try in the last 20 seconds here,
I don't think they'll
are going to get a bonus point, which they've earned.
Yeah, they have, and they do look a very impressive side, and not to win a game at home, I find it unbelievable, actually. Andy Kelly does a great job, he knows this division, and a very passionate man, and I think he'll be made up with this result, actually. Or not result and getting beat, but the way they did contended the game.
Well, Dave Rotherham relieved to get through this, I'm sure. And I think you saw there briefly just a little breath of relief from the Whitehaven coach. And his players have toughed it out with a very tough Dewsbury side. It looked as though early doors that Whitehaven might take a grip on the game, but they were never allowed to by this Dewsbury side, who really hung in there. And in the end, significantly, when Dewsbury down to 12 players, Whitehaven capitalised on that and eventually got home to take the 3 points. The Rams get a bonus point, their fourth of the season, but it's Dewsbury who will go top of the table. It's Whitehaven who will go top of the table, I beg your pardon, and no doubt that will please their coach, Dave Rotherham, who's waiting to talk to Ben now.
A win that takes you back to the top of the table, Dave, but they made it very, very difficult for you, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. Dewsbury played great. They deserved that bonus point, I think, tonight. And, you know, they tried out physical us up the middle, but our defence, I was really proud of our defence, and particularly our discipline in that second half. We gave away too many penalties in the first half, and, you know, we stood to our task, and we're really pleased to win the game. It's always difficult coming down here from Cumbria at midweek.
And first quarter of the game, it looked like you had the 3 points sewn up, but then they came right back into it.
Yeah, they're a great footballing team, Dewsbury. They've got talent all over the field and speed, and you know they certainly had a go at us, and like I say, they deserve that bonus point at the end.
And a lot of talk before the season about the likes of Widnes and Castleford. You're now top of the league, and oh, OK, they've got a game in hand, of course, but nice position to be in.
Yeah, of course it is. Everyone talks about Widnes and Castleford, but you know, don't forget there's a team called Whitehaven there as well, and you look at the table, we're sat at the top for now.
Congratulations, Dave. Thanks for talking to us.
Thank you.
Well, Dave Rotherham delighted, and Gary Broadbent there, his fullback, had a fantastic game as well. But this is the way it's shaped up. A victory for Whitehaven by 10 points. It means a 4th bonus point for Dewsbury this year. You get a bonus point in National League every time you lose a match by 12 points or less, and that's the 4th time that Dewsbury have lost by such a narrow margin. So what's it mean to the table? It'll make pretty reading for viewers in Cumbria tonight, because Whitehaven are top of the table. They lead by a point from the Widnes Vikings. They're 4 ahead now of Castleford, and Dewsbury, they stay 5th. But as I say, the 4 bonus points for them, doing them a power of good. Nobody has got more bonus points in the National League other than Dewsbury. Fantastic match and a really good contest here in Dewsbury tonight. But don't forget, plenty more to come this evening. Coming next, we turn our attention to Boots and All Matters. And Dave Hadfield has wandered off the beaten track again for the 2nd instalment of his series. And this time he's north of the border in Scotland. Find out what he got up to when we return.
International Rugby Union. 4 big games this Saturday. First up, New Zealand, France. The first test from 8. Then Australia v Wales. Second test action. From 10:30. Next, South Africa, England. The second test from 1 p.m. England looking to restore some pride. And the Churchill Cup final from Twickenham at 4. Sponsored by Guinness. Saturday from 8, exclusively live. Sky Sports 1.
Hi. Nice car.
Thanks. Do you know what? We should get married. Buy a house, have some kids, get a dog, and spend the rest of our lives together.
Okay.
The new Kia Ceed with a 7-year warranty. Now that's a quality commitment.
What happens if tomorrow's cars need a whole new kind of insurance? By considering what might change tomorrow, our insurance is more relevant and secure today. Zurich, because change happens.
If you haven't discovered the miracle of fusion, it's time you did. Gillette Fusion. On the front, 5 blades. And on the back, Gillette's first ever precision trimmer. Perfect for under the nose, straightening sideburns, and around facial hair. Gillette's best shave in manual and battery power. Fusion. Thousands of men have voted Gillette Fusion their product of the year 2007. Gillette Fusion.
3 gives you the freedom to talk with 500 anytime, any network minutes for only £15 a month. And get a shiny new Sony Ericsson K610i on us, so you can chat away whenever you want. Enjoy freedom on 3, and we'll throw in a Bluetooth headset too. Only when you call 0800 358 4114 or go to 3.co.uk/TV.
B&Q, when you spend over £150, you can get 15% off all kitchens and all bathrooms. And that's on top of all our other summer offers. Hurry to B&Q. Offer ends Monday the 4th of June.
One day, Jack tried Path Clear Gun, the weed killer that kills weeds and forms a protective barrier to stop new ones growing, thus giving him spare time to get to know his neighbour, and after a lightning affair, get married in the Seychelles, where she discovered water sports, and he ended up in hospital with amnesia, married his nurse, moved back with 2 macaws, and is currently being sued for bigamy. A lot's happened in 6 months, but his path's still free of weeds. Path Clear Gun kills weeds for up to 6 months.
whatever it is that gets you going. With Expedia, you can tailor-make it.
I like being free to do what I like with my money. I like things when they're kept simple. I like it when there's very little paperwork. And I definitely like knowing that I'm not being kept in the dark. So when it comes to money, my money, I like having a like-minded bank.
ING Direct. It's your money. Straightforward savings, mortgages and home insurance.
Yeah, boots and all now, we are looking back at round 15 in Super League. Wigan and St Helens, impressive winners. And Dave Hadfield is off the beaten track again. This time he is in Scotland. Well, as we say, it's boots and all now, and for the rest of the show I'm joined here by Barry and Terry, and they are here to inform and entertain as always, and we would love to hear from you. Of course, here's our regular email address. Drop us a line. And try and keep it, if you can, to about 50 words or less. We'll get as many of your views on the air before we leave you tonight. Plenty to talk about, I'm sure. And while you're tapping away, let's get up to date with events in the Super League games. Last weekend, it was played right across the bank holiday weekend, of course. It was round 15, remember.
Sean McRae was at the Willows on Friday to see the side he could soon be coaching, and the City Reds produced their best performance of the season to end Huddersfield's winning streak. 6 days after conceding 66 points in France, Salford produced a superb defensive effort. The only points in the first half came from Kevin McGuinness's try. After the break, the City Reds scored 2 rip-roaring tries from David Hodgson and Gravy Arn to give themselves hope of avoiding the big drop. Their 4th victory of Super League 12 narrows the gap between them and the pack to 3 points, with a dozen matches still remaining. 24 hours later, Wigan completed the league double over Hull in a bizarre match at the JJB Stadium. The Warriors' hopes looked in tatters early on as the visitors romped into a 16-2 first-half lead. But Trent Barrett inspired a famous fight-back. The Australians' double salvo hauled Wigan back to within 2 points by half-time, and in the second stanza, Brian Noble's boys cut loose, scoring 5 tries and 31 points without reply. Pat Richards' hat-trick was the highlight, and he finished with a personal haul of 30 points. On a busy Super League Sunday, Bradford stayed 2 points behind the leaders by crushing the Quins at the Grattan Stadium. Leslie Vainicolo offered a reminder, if one was needed, of what the Bulls will miss when he departs, with a trademark powerhouse hat-trick. 147 tries in 148 career appearances now for the Volcano. There was a glimpse too of a bright Bradford future though, as youngster Richie Hawkyard marked his home debut with the final try of the game. Leeds had lost on both their trips to Hull this season, but avoided an unwanted hat-trick by edging out KR at Craven Park despite going behind to an early Paul Cook penalty. The Rhinos scored the first 3 tries of the match. Danny Maguire, Clinton Tupy and Jordan Tansey did the damage. The win briefly lifted Leeds back to the top of the table, while Rovers are now 11th, just 3 points ahead of Salford at the bottom. When the Catalans last visited Wakefield in March, the Wildcats were top of the table. When this match kicked off, they'd slipped to 11th off the back of an 8-game winless streak. The Dragons led early through John Wilson, but Wakefield battled back thanks to Jason Demetriou, Wayne Price and Jamie Rooney, and this priceless victory hauls them 4 points clear of the bottom of the table. St Helens finished round 15 on top of the pile after an 11th straight Super League success over Warrington. The Wolves, whose only 2 league wins since March have both been against Salford, started brightly and led 12-6 at half-time after scores from Vinnie Anderson against his old club and Henry Farr-Feely. But Paul Cullen's crew collapsed completely after the break and were ruthlessly dismantled by the champions, who won the second half 34-0. Leon Price led the way with a hat-trick, and Warrington now, incredibly, are just 3 points off bottom spot.
And let's confirm all that. Here's the table. St Helens and Leeds remain the joint leaders of the competition. Bradford are third. Wigan, Huddersfield and Harlequins make up the 6th. There is so much to play for because only 2 points separate the teams in 6th and 11th. And Salford's win against Huddersfield means that they are now just 3 points off the pace. Round 16 coming up. The programme looks like this. Top two are in action on Friday, one of them on Sky Sports. Leeds, Warrington is our featured game, while St Helens entertain the Salford City Reds. They're both kicking off at 8. Saturday, Harlequins Wigan starts at 3 at the Twickenham Stoop. Bradford are in the south of France against the Catalan Dragons, and that kicks off at 8 o'clock local time. And on Sunday, Hull Huddersfield has a 3:15 start, while Wakefield Hull KR finishes off the weekend, and that's live on Sky Sports at 6 o'clock. So another important weekend coming up for the teams in the Engage Super League. Let's take a look back and a look forward now. Barry, first of all, let's talk about Salford, because they're coachless. Sean McRae, there's still a big question mark about whether he will take over the reins at the Willows, but they've given themselves hope, haven't they, with that win?
It was a massive improvement performance-wise. The same players as the week before that lost by 66 points, I think it were, against the Catalan team, showed up, and they showed up well. Kevin McGuinness rode his blood to water, if you like. Simon Finnegan, Luke Robinson, players who you would have expected to step up over different parts of the year, were outstanding on that night, and they've got a tough task this week. They've got to go to Saints and come away with something.
Well, they have, but the word we're getting from St Helens is that there are a few regular first-teamers out. I don't know whether Sean Long will be risked. There's rumours that Leon Price won't be there, Willie Talau, Francis Melly. So this could be Salford's chance, but they've got such outstanding youngsters.
They have,
St Helens.
and they rested a few this weekend, and the kids that came in just didn't look out of place at all. What we tend to forget is that Saints have been playing since February. They took the World Club Challenge really early on, and you need to rest your troops. You need to keep your horses healthy, as Brian Noble says.
Absolutely. Two incredible second-half fightbacks last weekend, Terry, for Wigan and for St Helens at Warrington.
You didn't think it was going to be Wigan's day, did you, with the way Hull started off? Peter Sharp would be very upset the way that they let Trent Barrett really run the show in that second half. And it was immense in the way that he come up with the great tries we just saw then from the highlights, and he just leads the team around. And you talk to the players at Wigan, and they just say that he's a big player for them, that just looking across change room and seeing him and go out and just let him order him about the pitch. He's been one of the best, obviously, signings that's come over for a long time.
He has indeed, and well, this weekend, there's so much to play for, isn't there? And it's such a difficult competition this year to actually predict anything.
I said 2 points between from Hull KR up to the top, and I do feel sorry for Warrington. And watching the game the other day with Warrington, that when the St Helens were defending the line, they never looked really troubled. They never looked troubled with the way that they were defending, and they looked. And St Helens always knew that they just come up with one break, and they come up with that one break, and they get to the other end of the field. And as soon as they started doing that, Warrington's confidence started to go, because they threw everything they had at them.
Well, on Boots and All this season, Dave Hadfield has made it his mission to discover rugby league off the beaten track, those places away from the heartlands where there's real support and enthusiasm for the game. This week, Dave goes north of the border to meet the team who are top cats in their particular competition.
The Kingdom of Fife is one of those parts of Britain that's the feeling of separateness. Before the Forth Bridges, it must have felt like living on an island. We're up the road here in that notoriously difficult place to pronounce correctly, Kirkcaldy. Famous Fifers from this town include Adam Smith, the founding father of modern economics, a latter-day economic wizard in Gordon Brown, and somebody else who made best use of his talents, Jockey Wilson. And if he was big in his sport, then the Fife Lions, champions of Scotland, are getting pretty big in theirs. Scott, why would you say the Fife Lions have been so successful over the past few years?
It all comes down to commitment and the will to win. We're a very small club. At the time when we first started out in 2002, we were just a bunch of probably drunken half-wits, some of us turning up at the game, out of bed, half-cut, and we've developed from there. In 2003, we came on with Jimmy Glover, who is now our Director of Rugby League. He installed the belief in the team that we could go on to win things, and then he installed backroom staff, and from there we've just built, and we're now one of the most successful teams in Scotland in Rugby League, and current Scottish champions.
Scott and Club Secretary Daniel Woodhouse met at salsa dancing classes, so you'd expect some fancy footwork at training in Rosyth. The club is attracting new recruits who are shown the ropes by Director of Coaching Jimmy Glover. The ex-soldier has coached army teams in Germany and the Dutch national side, but now he's back on home ground in Fife.
We're the only team in Fife, and I think that brings the whole of Fife together. We've got players from Falkirk coming to play for us, we've got players from Inverness, Kirkcaldy, which is a local rugby union big club, and Dunfermline, which is just up the road.
Do you think this club has got the potential to play opposition from beyond Scotland and do well against them?
We think, personally, that we have. We've got potential to go a lot further than what we are doing at the moment. We feel we're slightly restricted because of the numbers of teams in Scotland and the calibre of the teams that we're playing against, which is restricting us from getting better and getting more experience.
If the Kingdom of Fife has a cultural heartbeat, it must be here in Optomukti, a location for Dr Finley's casebook, home to the legendary band leader Jimmy Shand, and the Proclaimers, who weren't far off the mark in their estimate of the round trip for one Fife player.
So where are you travelling down from?
Dalwhinnie, just in the Highlands, just south of Aviemore.
So talk me through the journey today. How long did that take you to get down here?
About an hour, 45 minutes.
And then afterwards turn round?
Yeah, straight back home.
Back up there again? Yeah. You could do with something to bring down from Aviemore and the Highlands with you for a bit of company on the trip, couldn't you?
Yeah, that'd be lovely, yeah. Maybe.
No signs yet?
Not yet, no. Shinty, it's all Shinty up there.
Shinty?
Yeah. That's the local game.
Yeah. Oh, well, we're usually in opposition to something. It's not usually Shinty.
Colin and his teammates are preparing for their biggest game of the season against a team from across the Firth of Forth, the Edinburgh Eagles.
They're fantastic games, absolutely fantastic. We have a great relationship with them off the park before and after the match. But as soon as that whistle goes in the first minute, it's war of attrition. Great arm wrestle and just a great game to be involved in.
Fife, in their red and blue kit, play at Harley Street in Rosyth, and they gave the Eagles the treatment when Gavin Curran set up Barry Dunnett. The Lions went further ahead when Blair Skipper followed up his own kick into the wind. Neil McAlone's conversion made it 10-0. Edinburgh hit back. Steve Gilroy's kick touched down by student international Barry Earle. The Eagles cut the gap when David Lynn slipped the Lions' defence to make it 10-8. The match was settled by Big George Mangalo's late try, but the rematch between the two next month should be tasty. In the meantime, there's plenty of rugby league life in Fife, so the next time you hear that fabled scoreline of East Fife 5, Forth 4, bear in mind it could be a try apiece and a deciding drop goal.
And where will Dave Hadfield be off the beaten track next time? You'll have to stay tuned to Boots and All to find out. Time for another short break right now. Coming next, it's time for some French lessons from an Aussie. John Money is the coach of the French national side, who face Great Britain next month. He was a successful coach at Wigan in the 80s and 90s. Now he prepares his French side for that test match against Great Britain, and we'll be meeting John when we return.
In the old days, if you fancied watching something half decent, you had to sit down when the newspaper told you. Then Sky Plus bowled into your life, and that all changed. Now you watched quality stuff whenever you felt like it. Fast forward to 2007 and you clock this thing called Anytime on your TV guide. Get in, you chirp. See, Anytime brings you a tasty bunch of shows via Sky Plus and HD that you might just want to discover. Sky Anytime. Your Sky on demand.
What if taste buds could talk? What if those 10,000 precise pleasure measures could actually tell you what they were thinking? Next time you're savouring a Guinness, listen. You'll hear them say, "Ah, now you're talking." Guinness. Taste matters.
Come on, drivers, challenge Churchill.
Hi, kid. I saved £74 on the insurance for my car.
Oh, yes!
You could find your treasure with the Pirates of the Caribbean a well-done scratch card from the National Lottery.
Whatever it is that gets you going, with Expedia, you can tailor-make it.
It's going to take millions of years just to get to a star. I find that so, mind-blowing. It just makes you feel proper small when you think of the universe. It's massive.
Still to come, we talk to John Money in a moment, the man hoping to put some French flair into the test against Great Britain next month. And keep those emails coming. Plenty of time for us to put your views to our experts here. Well, in case you missed the match earlier on, we are here in Dewsbury, and Dewsbury Rams have lost to the Whitehaven side by 32 points to 22. It means that Whitehaven go top of National League One. They're on course for a place in Super League next year. Barry and Terry are still with me here in the stadium in Dewsbury. We'll be hearing from them, of course, and as always on Boots and All, we've got to hear from you as well. Here comes the email address. Keep sending us your missives. I'll get through as many as I can before we say farewell. I wonder whether the subject of Test Match Rugby League will prompt you to drop us a line, because next month Tony Smith will be in charge of Great Britain for the very first time. He takes his bow in the match against France at Headingley. The French are under the control of another Australian, the great John Money, who made such a mark on the British game, of course, many years ago at Wigan. He's been in charge of France for a year or two now, so how does he see next month's test developing?
Quite simply, John Money is one of the most successful coaches in the history of British Rugby League, and his challenge across the Channel is the toughest of his career. The man with the task of leading the renaissance of the sport in France and creating a competitive side for the 2008 World Cup.
They've got a great desire to get into the Tri-Nations thing, to make it a Four Nations. So they've got the ambition, and you know, they've got a pretty good setup over there. So, you know, we're making steps. You can't do it all at once, and so we've got plans for, you know, to have a very competitive team by the time the 2008 World Cup comes on.
Money is in his third year in the role and is under no illusions at the size of his job. Last October, his team were beaten by England, and they'll face Great Britain without the likes of injured trio Jamal Fakir, Adel Falous and Sébastien Ragouin. But the coach is confident his forwards will still provide plenty of French resistance.
Jerome Guisset, David Ferriol, Jean-Christophe Bolin, there's plenty of grunt that we can put up front. The lock forward, Gregory Muniz, is of international standard, I feel. And I'll get a couple of back rowers out of the domestic competition that are good, tough players. So we can be competitive in the forwards, and they'll be certainly tough enough.
Money is looking forward to going head-to-head with new British boss Tony Smith, backing his fellow Australian's appointment. But he believes the Leeds coach will find things very different from his role at the Rhinos.
At international level, you know, you take players from clubs, you don't know how they're going to handle the pressure. And probably by the time you find out how they're going to handle the pressure, it's too late. So, you know, it's a tougher job in a way. But as I said, you know, I love rugby league. I'm passionate about rugby league, and if I can help the French team develop, and we can take this first step, and then we can improve and learn from that, then hopefully by the time the World Cup comes up, they'll be more competitive.
Money plans to hand over his job to one of his French assistants after next year's World Cup. His trophy tally stretched one into double figures during his 2 spells at Wigan, and he's still the last man to lead the Warriors to a championship win back in 1998. So will we ever see him coaching in Super League again?
I had 21 seasons as a first-grade coach. You work 7 days a week. The game's never out of your mind. It's the best job and the worst job in the world. You know, I have great memories of that, but I don't think I've got the constitution now to sort of get down and do that 7 days a week. It's a great job, but it's a tough job, you know, and I'm at 61 years of age. I'm not certainly not going back there.
Well, don't forget you can enjoy that frontline test live with us on Sky Sports. It's Great Britain-France, Tony Smith's first match in charge of the national team. It'll be live from Headingley Friday the 22nd of June at 7:30 on Sky Sports 3. It'll also be available to viewers with the Sky HD box in high definition, of course. Something to look forward to then. International mid-season, which is what we've been banging on about for a wee while. I must say, Terry, John Money looks well for 61, doesn't he? But maybe a few more grey hairs for him on the night at Headingley, perhaps.
Yeah, I think he was in the year below you at school, wasn't he? No, he doesn't. He
doesn't got the same barber, though.
No, and he's very well liked, isn't he, in Wigan, done a lot for the Wigan club and the success over him, and hopefully that's what, from the French point of view, that's why they've employed him, to try and bring on some of these French players.
Now, it's 17 years since the French last beat Great Britain in a test match. Coincidentally, that was at Headingley. 25 points to 18. It can't happen again, can it?
It possibly could. I think the French side and the French playing nation has massively improved since in the 2 years that the Catalan side has been in Super League. But, you know, I think it'd be a chance for us to look at some of the domestic league players as well.
Well, over lunch today, we've had a little bit of fun with these two because they've both been doing Tony Smith's job for him. And let's take a look at the teams that you two have chosen. It's Barry's first. So this is Barry McDermott's team that he would put out for Great Britain against France. Platt, Calderwood, Sykes, Hodgson and Paul Riley, Sinfield, Burrow, Fozzard, Hudson, Lynch, Jamie Jones-Buchanan, Westwood and Purdham, with Thorman, Burgess, Wilde and O'Carroll on the bench. Now, why would you pick that 17, Barry?
I just feel we've got the probables in mind, and we need to know whether the possibles are good enough, and it's a massive leap from Super League to the Test arena, and this I feel will be a decent stepping stone, and it contains players who haven't played for the last couple of years.
Fair enough, but wasn't this Test match first of all planned to give Great Britain a run out to prepare them for the Kiwi Test? Now, are you suggesting that your team would be playing New Zealand at the end of the season?
No, but we would get to have a look at the players that... I'm not for picking the old guard, I'm not for picking the tried and tested. I think we need to look at a new dawn, a new era, and let's get those players who for years we've been shouting at, and Rob Burrow in particular, I think, you know, for the last couple of years he should definitely have been there. And the two kids I've picked on the bench, Eamon O'Carroll and Sam Burgess, I believe you don't mature as a front rower until you're in your mid to late 20s, but them two are playing real well, and let's have a look at them at the minute.
OK, well, these two often agree about many things, but I wonder what your 17 looks like, Terry. Let's take a look at that now. And it's a complete change. Briscoe, Aspinwall, Atkins, Sykes and Lee Smith, Paul Cook, Jamie Rooney, Lynch, Hudson, well, that's one that you agree on, Crabtree, Langley, Matt Cook, but at the moment he's out injured, and Purdham gets a run again, and O'Carroll is mentioned also with Thorman, Platt and Burgess. So you put 4 of Barry's starting 13 on the bench.
I've gone for totally uncapped players that never played for Great Britain, and I just look at them. When we were discussing this at dinner time, I look at the influence it had on James Roby when he's come back from the Tri-Nations, and this year he's been tipped as Man of Steel. He's been playing outstandingly well for St Helens, along with James Graham last year when he played in the mid-July Test as well. He kicked him on for the rest of the season, and he started so strong again. And a lot of these young kids, they will be playing against the French players that they're going to be lining up against, you know, come the Test is when they're playing at Catalan. So it's okay for Eamon O'Carroll, Sam Burge, and I know they are young kids, and there's some young kids in there that aren't tried and tested really, but give them a look on the international stage and let's see what they can do, and
Eddie,
hopefully it'll kick their careers on.
Eddie, I'm not saying that will be the Test side that's going to play at the end of the year, but what I'm saying is that will complement the players who are already established internationals, Peacock, Wellens. We don't need to see them in this particular match. We know what to expect from them.
Well, we do, but I go back to my original point. It's a game to start running the motor as the way Tony Smith would want them to play. Aren't we going to miss the the chance if we do this.
But that team though, that is just. I'm not saying that should be the team. What I'm saying is that should be the players in that team there should be thought of to play in the Test arena. And now we go into the Test series in like October, November. When Great Britain played in 2001, they played in Agen against France, which was a build-up Test game for a Test series against the Aussies, which was 2 weeks previous to the start of that competition. So I'm just saying, have a look at some of the young kids, and you don't know, it might kick them on for the end of the season. Some of them players on that team that wouldn't have come in contention may come into contention.
Yeah, it's a chance for them to put the case forward, and you can't pick a set of players now to make that Test series. All kinds of things, injuries and lack of form, and everything can happen.
Yeah, well, it was a bit of fun for you two. It is obviously a serious job for Tony Smith, and presumably over the next week, 10 days or so, we'll find out what his squad is, and we'll bring it to you here, of course, on Boots and All, or alternatively on our match coverage here on Sky Sports. We're here in Dewsbury tonight because we've been watching the Dewsbury Rams against Whitehaven battle away for points in the National League. Emails are coming in, and there's one here from Sam Miller. Sam says, Super League needs a Cumbrian team. Isn't it time to back a united Cumbrian side for the supposed franchise system of 2009? Whitehaven and Workington to combine the same way that the Australian sides have joined together to survive. Cumbria is a hotbed of rugby league. The Rugby Football League should back it.
I think if you're asking teams like Barrow, Workington and Whitehaven to combine, it's just totally unrealistic. It's like trying to get Bradford, Leeds and Hull FC to combine, not just with the distance, just with the passion from all three clubs. But we do need a side from Cumbria in there, because...
Well, mergers is a dirty word, isn't it?
They won't do it. They just won't buy into it. And I know that's a negative thing to say, but... You know, the standard of players in Cumbria is very strong, and I think it's only a matter of time.
Well, people don't like change, do they? And maybe if it's got to be a Cumbrian team that's not called, or asking them clubs to merge, on whether in the time they'll be feeder clubs, because there's a lot of talent that comes down to Super League and National League from Cumbria. There's just an awful lot, and there's some great players up there, and you've seen today with Whitehaven some of the young kids that have come through the system, and I think definitely the Super League needs a Cumbrian side, and that Cumbrian side then will help the Great Britain side, because they'll be able to pick, the young kids will be playing up in Cumbria, wanting to play for Cumbria as they get older, and that can only be good for Great Britain, because we can pick that talent up from and pick them for the side.
I'll tell you where they're strong as well.
Sorry, Barry, you can come on back in a moment on this. I just want to bring this in from Peter Leeds, because he believes there is a conspiracy theory against rugby league in Cumbria. He said, thought tonight would be a good opportunity to state how disgusted I am at Super League's lack of support and investment in Cumbria. Every time I hear about so-called investments in London, France, Gateshead and Wales, many of which have failed to raise the standard and profile of the game, I get more and more disheartened. Peter Leeds says, P.S. if this doesn't get read out, I'm sure there is a conspiracy. There is no conspiracy, Peter, don't worry. And the lads here, Barry and Terry, are fully with you. They would like a team. We would all like a team in Cumbria. But are there the players there, seriously?
The point I was going to make, I tell you where Cumbria is strong. It's strong in the amateur game. You have to be pretty committed to leave your home, and you'd have to leave your county and come and play for another side in Super League. A lot of them have got good jobs and stable households and things like that, and that's why the amateur scene is as strong in Cumbria as it is in anywhere.
Do you know what, you ask a question, are there the players up there to form a Cumbria side? Are there the players in all the Super League clubs that have homegrown their own talent? You'll find that there's not a lot of teams that have got total homegrown players, and as Barry said, the amateur scene in Cumbria is fantastic. And I do think that in time and over a few years, if there is a successful Cumbrian side, the youngsters of the world will want to play for them.
We've just got a bit of time to mention that Brian Chambers, on Monday, there was a big mention for him at Warrington at the game. He achieved the age of 65 on Monday, although it was said by the tannoy announcer at the Halliwell Jones Stadium he was 102, which I think was a little bit strong.
Maybe. I mean, we both got experiences with Brian Chambers. He took us to New Zealand with the Bala tour, and if I remember rightly, Brian, you left me out of the last game. Thanks for that.
He did actually cost us the test, because he blamed Barry for coming in a bit later, but unknown to Brian, I was actually out with him.
Yeah.
Sort of snuck in, and I
were only me
dropped.
got caught. But top man Brian, and done a hell of a lot of work in the community of Warrington. So
I feel very sorry for you, Barry. I feel very sorry for you, Barry, because all the time you seem to be the man who takes the rap and you know...
Because I'm the clever one.
What do you think? No, I'm the one that gets caught. That's what it is.
Is that what it is? Bumped into Bob Howlett as well on Monday night, and he's just dropped us a line because you might remember that Sean McRae and I were talking about the fact that he was in Dubai when Carl Harrison got the sack at Salford. And Sean said on the programme that, you know, there isn't much rugby league following over there. Well, Bob Howlett, who is an ex-Wiganer and now a Warrington fan, an ex-Wigan player and now a Warrington fan, says, can we give him and all the other rugby league fans in Kuwait a greeting? So we'll do that because they follow that on the internet and on satellite over there. So, you know, people say that this game is confined to a little corridor across the M62. This programme over the course of this year has proved that totally false.
I think we're just going into a new generation and a new era, and sometimes we suffer a little bit from an inverted chip on our shoulders. We think everybody's against us, but we're not. We're getting bigger and bigger all the time.
We are getting bigger and bigger all the time, and sadly we have run out of time here tonight, but there is just enough time left for me to tell you of the regular features we have on Sky Sports this year, where you can keep abreast with the very best of the rugby league scene. Tony Ray will be live at 9:30 on Sunday evening, Sky Sports News, with his review of events this weekend in the Super League. Try and remember to join him for that. And don't forget also that there's a special edition of Boots and All produced weekly for our online viewers. Barry and Terry here will be with either Bill or Angela. It's available on Monday evenings and as a podcast from a Wednesday. And it's also available on Sky anytime on your TV now, weekly from Wednesday mornings. The service provides a selection of Sky programmes. It's available to Sky HD subscribers, and those of you with a recent Sky Plus box, please check out the details on anytime.sky.com for further details. OK, now the matches this weekend. It's Leeds-Warrington tomorrow night from 7:30 Sky Sports 1 and on HD1. And this week on Sunday at 6, we'll enjoy Wakefield-Hull Kingston Rovers on Sky Sports 2 and HD2 from 6. And please note that change of day this week. We're with you on Sunday. Next Thursday, it's another Boots and All special, live from the Don Valley Stadium. The featured match from the National League then will be Sheffield against Rochdale. That's on Sky Sports 3 live from 7:30. And I trust that it will be as good a game as we've seen here tonight in Dewsbury. Well, hope you've enjoyed this week's show. Thanks as always to Barry and Terry for being here with us. We'll be back at Headingley tomorrow for the start of another Super League weekend. It promises to be another interesting one. I hope we'll see you then. Bye-bye.
Circumstance and a chance to make out. Living in the citadel, it's hard enough to be yourself. Waiting for the bell to toll and I'm wide awake now. It must have been 100 miles, plenty of 100 styles. It's not about the smile you wear, but the way we make out. When I was another loner, nothing but a two-beach coma. Anybody seen the sky? I'm wide awake now.
More sport, news and views at skysports.com.
Rugby League on Sky Sports. Sponsored by Stan James, the sports bookmaker, whatever your sport.
This is where they practice. And this is who they've got in their sights. They are the qualifiers. They dream of tasting glory. They dream of slaying a darting giant. And they dream of becoming UK Open champion. Stand by for more upsets. The 2007 Blue Square UK Open starts next Thursday, 7 p.m. Sky Sports 1.
Successful companies are all about growth. But growth can mean you lose touch with the people who matter. At Santander, we've been growing for 150 years by adding branches to our network to bring us closer to our customers. Now our group has more branches than any other international bank. In 2004, Abbey became part of Santander, and together we share the same commitment to be close to our customers. Abbey, part of the Santander Group.
Technology. Making better, better. Onwards, upwards, any way but backwards. Tapping progress on the shoulder and saying, "More forwards, please."
Tesco, this half-term, Charlotte's Web spins onto DVD.
My name is Charlotte.
In a timeless classic for the whole family. Filled with fun, friendship, and adventure. Catch Charlotte's Web on DVD this half-term with a free educational CD-ROM exclusively at Tesco.
Whey protein is now a cracking £9.99. That's 54% off. You can't afford to miss better than half-price whey protein now at Holland & Barrett.
It's a mad, crazy world. Good job, as HSA.
Health plans. Simple, affordable.
You could find your treasure with the Pirates of the Caribbean a well-done scratch card from the National Lottery.
2 pints of lager and a strongbow, please. Crisps anyone? Oh, yeah, nice. Yep.
Strongbow. Total first pint refreshment.
Tomorrow, live Super League, Leeds Warrington at 7:30 on Sky Sports 1, live sailing the America's Cup at 1:30 on Sky Sports 2, and live horse racing from Bath and Down Royal at 7 on Sky Sports 3.
All the shows, all the time. Only on Sky Sports.